Welcome to DAX Machina, with your hosts, Naomi Finn, Steve Wildman Munrodis, and D.A. Roberts. Join us as we explore writing, books, authors, and all things horror. We will delve into the sightings, reports, encounters, and tales of monsters. We will also explore the writings of D.A. Roberts along with others in the horror genre. We will investigate the possibilities that monsters may not be safely locked away in the pages of books. They might just walk among us even now. Grab some popcorn and lock the doors. It's going to be a creepy journey. Welcome to DAX Machina.
Good evening, folks, and thank you for joining us tonight here on DAX Machina. We, there we go. All right. We're happy you guys joined us tonight. Hey, Doc, thanks for joining us.
Hey, brother, thank you.
We're ready to jump into the middle of this thing with both feet. Wouldn't be a DAX Machina show if we didn't have a screw up or two, which right off the bat was me programming the wrong time for the episode. So I apologize for that. Hopefully you guys are jumping in with us anyway. And I can see from the numbers we're starting to get a few people. So it was completely my fault that we showed up with the incorrect time. I just programmed it in incorrectly. Steve's off tonight, so joining me tonight in the studio will be Josh Jones from All Town Media. You guys all know Josh. And, of course, Gary Pocket Doc Davis is in the house. Welcome home, Doc.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Doc, how the hell are you?
Wyatt, I am rolling.
Love it. DA, you've already got a question. Didn't come up in the chat, which is weird because we're not getting
before we went live.
Yeah.
I know I'm receiving the first 3 Wild Hunt books for Christmas, but I already have Operation Lily. Should I read it first or wait until after read the first 3? Wait till after. Yeah, the Operation Lily story itself takes place after the other 3, so you can go ahead and read it last. Although there are a couple other short stories that kind of happen in between. So Operation Lily is kind of a standalone, but I would read it afterwards. Kyle Reel says, hi, Sergeant Roberts. Hey, Kyle, how you doing? Thank you, bud. Appreciate you being in the house. And I got a care package in the mail today. Some weird stalker sent me a really badass med kit. It says Team Odin right on it. That is a badass kit.
Thanks, bro.
And another cool hat. So I am back in business.
Right on. Glad it came in.
Yeah, it was supposed to be here yesterday from what you told me, but it didn't show up till today. Well, we just lost Josh. I guess he'll be right back.
Oh.
So, Doc, how you been?
Been good, man. Took Angie downtown last night. We stayed down there, had a nice dinner, and went to listen to some music at this little Irish pub.
Nice.
And came back. Today's her birthday official. So
nice.
She's 25 and holding.
25 and holding. Yes, sir. Yeah.
I
How
would
about
never
y'all?
presume to assume otherwise.
Amen to that, brother. How about y'all? Y'all doing good?
Doing all right.
Doing all right.
Good,
Maintaining.
Good.
Fighting a head cold for the last week. It's just still lingering on.
I'm on the tail end of mine.
So if I suddenly mute myself at some point, it's because I'm hacking. So please excuse me and bear with me. My voice is a little off tonight too.
Got a good cure for that.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm going to attempt to cure it a little bit. I have a beverage I'm going to imbibe in here shortly, and I'll talk about it here in a minute.
Excellent.
Yep. He got himself a good old Norse remedy.
There you go.
Honey, it's made with honey.
It's made with honey. It's gotta be good for you.
That's right.
Be good for you.
It's all natural. And they say cranberries are good for you too, so that's in it.
Well,
There you go.
I'm just promoting good health.
Nothing wrong with that.
Was it a whiskey salad with ice croutons?
Absolutely.
I've never heard that before. That's awesome.
I like that.
I want to get that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I got the good old hot bean juice.
Yeah, I'm partaking of the sacred black rifle as well.
Yep. As a matter of fact, I need a new bag. I just tapped mine.
Werewolf 5674 says, Carrie, do more sling blade. That's funny.
All right, then. I reckon.
That reminds me, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Shrek. Do the roar. Do it. Do the roar.
Do the roar.
I love your sling blade because you screw your face up like that. It's so funny.
And he does it. Watching him do it, man, it's like, it was crazy.
It's almost like he's constipated and drooling at the same time.
Did I ever tell you guys a story that he told on TV on how he created the character of Carl?
Mm-mm.
He was doing a late night talk show right after that movie came out, and this is Billy Bob Thornton. And they asked him if he would do Carl on the show, and he's like, "No, I don't do Carl. I get people ask me all the time to do Carl in public, and I just don't do it. I just refuse to do it." He says, "But I will tell you something that I haven't really told anybody before." They're like, "Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome." He says, "I'll tell you how I created the character of Carl." They're like, "Oh, outstanding." He says, "Back when I was on the movie Tombstone," he says, "I would get so pissed off at Val Kilmer, I'd go in my trailer and go, 'I'm going to kill that son of a bitch.'" He says, and Carl was born for that.
Oh, that's hilarious, man.
So I guess him and Val didn't get along too well.
Yeah, I met Buck Taylor last year in Tombstone during the Doc holidays. And Buck Taylor said, Val Kilmer's a great actor. He said, but he was a strange bird, man.
Yeah. He's a method actor. Once he's in character, he doesn't come out.
He stayed in character the whole time. He said they've been filming for a couple of weeks, and they're both sitting there on a set, and said Val Kilmer looked over at him and said, "Creek, we've known each other for quite some time now. You may call me John." You know, everybody had to call him Doc. You know, he said, "You may call me John." I was like, that is
so funny.
That's bizarre. But yeah, he got into it.
That's awesome.
Well, he does Val Kilmer does a live stage performance as Mark Twain. And after the show, he does this speech and talks about his writing and stuff. He comes out into the crowd and interacts with the crowd as Mark Twain. I've wanted to see that show for so long.
Wow.
I'm like a huge Mark Twain fan.
Yeah,
I don't know if he can do it. Does he do it now? Because he lost his voice to cancer, didn't he?
I think this was before. Yeah. I don't know if he's still doing it. I would love to have seen that show.
Yeah, his voice is. He did a interview with his kids, and his voice is definitely different than it used to.
Well, they did this thing as part of the documentary where they like added an AI version of his voice to like a thing that he wore around his throat so he could get his voice back. And it basically brought him to tears because he hadn't heard his regular voice in years.
Wow. That's awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
Well, as many movies as he's done, surely they could sample enough to have his.
And that's what they did. They went through movies, they went through interviews, and just basically built an AI model of his voice, and it was able to recreate his tone and everything as he spoke.
That's awesome.
That's pretty freaking cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tech's getting out there to do some wild stuff.
Absolutely.
Hey, General.
Hey, the General's in the house. Evening, sir. The topic for tonight is hauntings, ghosts, and everything creepy. And there's quite a few things I want to talk about. And I know you guys have both had some interesting experiences in your lifetime. We did a ghost show on Halloween. But I want to do this one a little differently. I want to talk about some individual specific cases and talk about some of the more famous hauntings here in the United States. And in one particular case, a case of demon possession.
Ooh.
Interesting.
So you guys ready to jump into this?
Absolutely, yeah.
Both feet, man. Let's get after it.
Okay. In 1973, the #1 movie in the United States was The Exorcist. It scared the shit out of audiences all over the U.S. People
Still
left
does.
that. Yeah, it still does. It's a terrifying
Yeah.
movie, but people left that movie in tears.
Mhm.
People were just absolutely terrified when they left the theater, and yeah, that movie scared. I mean, touched people on a very deep level, scared the hell out of them. But what a lot of people don't know is that movie is actually based on a true story that happened in St. Louis, Missouri, in 1949. It was the case of an exorcism performed on a boy named Roland Doe, also known as Roland Hunkler. And he was a child they lived in a suburb of St. Louis on Roanoke Drive. And he started exhibiting really odd behavior. And his parents took him to all the best doctors. And of course, nothing happened. And, they couldn't figure out what was wrong with this kid until the Catholic Church got involved. And a lot of the cases, the notes on this are still unavailable to the public, but it's common knowledge that it happened. And in early January 1949, after his mother's death, Ronald Hunkeler, I can't pronounce his last name, began to experience. Yeah, Ronald began to have weird things happening. He was hearing scratching sounds from the floors and walls of his room. Water dripped from the pipes and walls. But the really weirdest part was his mattress would move underneath him. His family sought help of every expert they knew, but they consulted doctors, psychiatrists, even a local Lutheran minister, but they were no help. But the minister suggested that they seek the assistance of the Jesuits in the local order. So Father Albert Hughes, a local Catholic priest, asked his superiors for permission to perform an exorcism on the boy in February of 1949, and the church granted it. Now, for the Catholic Church to grant permission to do an exorcism is a big deal. It has to meet a very specific set of criteria. And they ended up strapping the kid down and beginning the recitations, the chantings. But had to stop when the kid broke off a piece of the mattress and slashed the priest across his shoulder.
Wow.
Got one of the metal wires out, and they had to call it off. They had to run out. A few days later, red scratches started appearing all over the kid. One of the words scratched into him was the word Louis, which indicated that they needed to go to St. Louis, where they had relatives. And it degenerated from there. It is one of the few actual documented cases of an exorcism performed in modern times. They were performed a lot more commonly in older times, and the Catholic Church is still doing them today, but they're never publicized because the Catholic Church just kind of keeps that very quiet.
Mm-hmm.
But this one became public, and that public knowledge became the movie The Exorcist.
Interesting. Seems like the Jesuits, whenever you hear strange tales, like we were even brought up the Jesuits when we were talking about the Native Americans in Canada with the Wendigo psychosis.
It's kind of been a long open secret that the Jesuits are like the Vatican's hit squad. I mean, they're the special forces of the Vatican.
Greg just posted Jesuits are the Vatican special forces.
Yeah,
that's exactly it.
True.
So,
the Orthodox Church has been doing them for quite some time too, because the Orthodox and Catholic broke off in 10th century or something like that. But my godfather, Greek Orthodox priest up in New York, showed me video one night of an exorcism that his father had performed on one of the parishioners, and this guy was speaking, and he spoke. They get it to Aramaic, which was the language of Christ. Ancient Germanic. I mean, this dude had multiple entities.
He was speaking dead languages.
He was speaking dead languages. This dude was Greek. Gus Snuffleupagus or whatever the hell his name was, and but he was speaking all these ancient languages. So, I mean, it was disturbing to say the least to see and to hear it.
possessions always fascinate me because as someone who grew up in the church but now believes I follow the Norse gods myself due to a good friend of mine introducing me to it. But I do believe in the power of conviction, and I do believe in evil entities. And I think what you see with exorcism, whether you believe or not, is a power of conviction and belief that they are able to do these exorcisms through basically sheer will. When it comes down to evil entities, I think it comes down more to a determination, a will, because you've got to be able to be solid in your belief, whatever that is, and be able to hold out against this entity. Basically, you got to win in a mind game with them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 100%. You've got to be dedicated to the cause. If you go into it half-hearted, and
you're going to get screwed.
You're going to get spanked, man. That's just a fact. And these guys are they're true to their faith, and, and whatever your faith is, be true to it. You know what I mean? And if you have that conviction of faith, then I think that the ball is definitely in their court. It's on their side. But it's definitely. I mean, no matter what spirituality, faith you believe in, there's good and there's bad. Just as sure as there's sunlight, there's the dark. And it's like the yin and the yang, man. There's light and there's dark. No matter what there is, there's evil entities,
and evil will find those cracks. If you have those cracks, it will worm its way in. Absolutely.
And if it takes hold, then, and especially if you're a weak-willed person, I think that's where a lot of they saw it in, and it was maybe people who are weak-willed or just had that, like you said, that chink in their armor, and it pervades their soul and takes over.
Like little kids playing with a Ouija board. They don't know what they're about to open themselves up to.
100%. They scare the ever living hell out of me.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, I missed it. Chef Yoda says, "Good evening, gentlemen." Tim says, "Hello." My mom Cheryl popped in to say hello.
Hi, Cheryl.
And then Northwoods, he's got to jump in. It's about his ex. I can handle evil entities. They got nothing on my ex. You can always count on Northwoods to give us a little insight into his past.
Yes.
Well, not all of us married the demon from The Exorcist.
Yeah. I was around a Ouija board when I was in Air Force. This girl wanted to do it in her barracks room, and it was on Halloween. And me and my buddy Jimmy were in there. And we're like, whatever. And man, things went south real quick. And me and Jimmy were like, all right, we're out. We're going to the NCO club and drink some beer because things got a little too crazy in there. So that's the reason I'm like, stay far, far away from those bastards.
Yeah. I even again, someone who doesn't follow the Christian faith, I, like Greg said, don't mess with Ouija boards. I still wouldn't, because these entities, use things like that as conduits. And
that's right.
I even with tarot, you do it's just like having your strong will or your beliefs in anything. Those people who are connected spiritually, psychically to that kind of stuff, they got to be careful, and you start adding tools to that, you increase that connection.
Yeah. I mean, if you go into that unprepared, you're opening yourself up, like you said, to become a conduit, and you've really got to ground yourself and put that bubble around you, and protect yourself at all costs, especially if you're going into it alone. That's kind of terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
Well, I remember watching The Exorcist when I was young, not 1973, because I was 3 years old. There's no way my mother would have let me watch The Exorcist at 3. But I watched it later. I was probably around 12 or 13, and I remember watching it. It had scared the living shit out of me.
Same, man.
Yeah, it shook me.
I was like 10. I think it was 81. I watched it in 81, and no. Even today, that movie is still disturbing to me, man, because it was based on reality, So,
well, I'm pretty sure that we had a custom when I was a kid from the time I was about 12 to about the time I was about 17 was me and my cousin Bill, Billy Bohannon. We would go to the video store on Friday night, rent creepy ass movies, and go back to his house and watch horror movies. And I think it was him and I that watched The Exorcist together. And neither one of us slept that night. We were stayed up all night shining flashlights in every corner of the room. We were idiots.
Oh yeah, yeah. I slept with my nightlight on, my bedside table light on after that for probably a good while, But it's people that mess around with that stuff unknowingly, they can unlock some things that can follow them, can attach to them, can get into their, and mess with their families, whatever. And the consequences can be pretty much life altering after that.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Amityville.
Amityville. Yeah. That's another case I wanted to touch on.
Absolutely,
we'll dig into that one deeper here in a minute.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, the Amityville is another great example.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's stories like this and Amityville that really excite me as a paranormal investigator, because I've never claimed to be psychic or in tune or whatever they say on the damn TV shows. All I know is when I go certain places, I can feel certain things. And as much as it scares me, it also excites the wrong word, intrigues me to go to places like that because I have that intuition at places like this, and it really drives my paranormal investigation. So I've always wanted to go to some of those bigger hot spots.
Oh yeah.
Just to be there and be in it for a moment.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Then leave that shit behind and not bring it home.
Yeah. It piques my interest. I've been to a lot of haunted locations. Took my little equipment and everything like that, and have come away with some pretty compelling evidence. So pretty scary stuff. Hey, Mondak 410 research. DA, can you send him my email address? Because he had sent a message to the info page the other day, and I couldn't retrieve it. I just wanted to give him a email, please, sir.
Will do.
Thank you.
When it first came out, people were fainting and being carried out of theaters. I went in the first week. I don't doubt it. That movie, it'll shake you.
Yeah,
it terrified people.
And at that time, it was unlike anything that had ever been in theaters. As far as true horror had that genre had been concerned, and it was a shock to people's systems for sure.
Marshall says, I was in a home under construction that gave me the willies. Turned out it was built on Indian burial ground in Davie, Florida. That's kind of wasn't that the basis for Poltergeist?
I think
it was built on an Indian burial ground.
Yeah. And
I know that wasn't based on a real story, but it became a real story, like the hauntings and paranormal activity that encompassed the crew during the filming is just baffling.
Yeah. I mean, like even up in Denver, Cheeseman Park, which is downtown Denver, it was built on an old cemetery. And they exhumed some bodies, but not all of them got exhumed because they found out the dude that was in charge of exhuming them, he got paid by body parts. And so he would basically take one body apart and say, oh, it was like this many bodies.
Wow.
It was a big scandal back in the day. And to this day, that place is still tons and tons of activity up there because people are having picnics on top of, corpses.
Right.
And a lot of people still don't know that. So crazy
Werewolf.
stuff.
I feel that too. That's one of the things I just get a feeling when I walk in somewhere that something ain't right.
I'm right there with you.
Northwoods messing with me is one thing, messing with my family is another. Absolutely,
man.
Greg, working in a haunted or demon infested place is bad news. I know from experience.
Amen to that, brother.
Yeah, he can tell you some cool stories. It's pretty weird.
I worked in a haunted hospital at my first duty station for 3.5 years.
No worries, Lenita. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah, I was going to say I never really worked anywhere that was haunted, but see, this is how I knew that I was kind of in tune with things. I worked at a YMCA camp growing up. for several summers. And while nothing ever happened on the property, this was just one of the weird experiences I had. We went off property because it was actually built. It was an old logging station back in the, back when they were like doing all the hydroelectric stuff back in California, and did a lot of logging back in like the 30s and 40s. Well, they had like a small town there where they had companions, their own little red light district, because it was like 2 hours from the valley, which is where most people were living. So it made sense that they had that kind of stuff up there. Well, apparently the story was that one of them had gotten basically passed around through a group of the loggers, and they killed her and buried her out in the woods. Who knows if it happened or not? It was just one of those campfire stories that people would tell. Well, we supposedly had a rough idea. A few of us had done some research and had an idea of where that could have happened. So we went out there. There was like 5 of us that went out there looking for this. So just a bunch of kids being silly, but me and one other person started feeling physically ill.
Yeah.
When we were out in the woods, and like, I felt like paranoid. I felt like we had to get the hell out of there. I felt like something was telling me to get the hell out of there. The minute that we walked back onto the property, we both felt fine.
Yeah.
It was so weird.
Yeah. It's weird how that stuff can actually have a physical effect on you. And sometimes the fear, like you said, it's almost like it's something, you feel like something's watching you, or something is right there over your shoulder. It can make you hurt yourself. It's not going to hurt you, but it's going to make you hurt yourself getting the hell out of there. Right. Northwoods asked me, what were those bases? What bases were those? That was actually Columbus Air Force Base. It was back when I was there. It still is a pilot training base, UPT base. But when the hospital was, it was a strategic air command base because the runway was long enough to land the bombers on back in the day. But that hospital was definitely had some. I had many weird incidents there. So it was definitely one of those things, like you said, you can just feel it and feel that.
I've been in places like that too.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They just really freak you out.
Yeah, exactly. Gets under your skin.
My mom goes, now why don't I know this? It's because she used to drive us up there. This is, like I said, when we were kids. I've told you this story at one point or another. I've brought this up, so I know I've mentioned it to you. Let's see. Monk DA shot you an email. Mondak said that to you.
Awesome.
Richie says, oh, I missed one. They're popping up quick. Dark Angel, hey brother.
Hey brother, what's happening?
And then Greg says, oh man, I definitely can second that feeling. You never forget it ever. No. And some people have those feelings. They're like, man, this is just kind of, it's kind of weird. Or, you walk into a new place and you kind of get that, this is kind of creepy. But then you have those other ones where like, this isn't, I gotta go. I do not belong here. And it's a wildly different feeling.
Yeah, you're like, I just crowded this party. Time to get the hell out of Dodge. Yeah.
Yeah. Throw on one of my shirts, my Not Today Jimmy shirts. I'm out of here.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Lenita says, I'm not afraid of Sasquatch, but I ain't no Ghostbuster. Now, see, I'm the other way around. I love researching Sasquatch and Dogman and all that. I don't think I want an encounter with one of those. Paranormal, on the other hand, I can see this stuff all day long. Like, I want to go ghost hunting and I want to have a full body experience. I'm okay with that. It might scare the hell out of me, but I want that. Yeah. Looks like we lost DA.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. That feeling, you never, like Lexington said, you never forget it. I can think back on those experiences I had and still get chills. It's almost like that. It's a visceral reaction. It's almost like this, like smells and sounds will bring back memories. Just thinking about it, I get that same reaction. Get the hair raising and everything.
Yeah,
it's I mean, I was in Savannah. My wife and I were there a couple of years ago, and I'll tell you what, man, lots of weirdness in that place too.
Oh, I would love to visit that. Not only Savannah, but I also want to go down to Louisiana, like Baton Rouge.
We also, I was teaching a class at a chemical plant down there in Convent, Louisiana, and not far from the world famous Myrtle's Plantation. And let me tell you what, man, we went on the ghost tour that night. My wife and one of our really good friends that lives in Louisiana. And on the ghost tour, she my wife was in probably about 3 or 4 feet, probably about 4 feet in front of me, a few steps ahead of me.
Right.
And we were walking through the area where there was known activity, and she turned and looked at me and she's like, "Did you just grab my butt?" And I was like, "Not unless," I said, "I got T-Rex arms, babe. There's no way I can grab your butt from where I'm standing." And it was one of those things, but people were feeling like their hair get touched or brushed, things like that all through there. So weird stuff, man.
That's creepy. I've been in a handful of places where, see, that's the weird thing when shit like that happens is like, you're like, did that just happen? And then you try to rationalize it.
Right. Yeah, you try to do everything you can to debunk what just happened. Like we were in Tombstone, like I was talking about last year, or a couple of years ago, and we were in the morgue. That all the guys, Morgan Earp was in there, had been put in there after he died, and I got felt up by a ghost prostitute. They put the laser grid thing out there. And I went and stood in this one spot, and my wife and my daughter said they could actually see like a hand. It looked like the shape of a hand cup my butt, and I could feel like I don't know, like electricity. I don't know, whatever it was.
Yeah, they describe it as almost like a charged pressure.
Yeah, it's like you're in a static chamber or something.
Yeah.
And the EVP came through clear as day, and it was a female's voice, and she said, "Ooh, he's pretty."
Nice.
And I was like, that's kind of cool.
Look at your wife and be like, "See, I still got
it." even ghosts want to do me, But it was weird, man. There was some negative stuff there, but it was we stayed in the hotel we stayed in was an old brothel, and there was definitely some energy there too.
Damn.
So, weird stuff, man.
Patty says, I want to go ghost hunting. Send a $5 super chat. I'm sure DA will really appreciate that. Thanks, Patty.
Awesome. Thank you, Patty.
Let's see here. Richie says, Lenita, have you ever had one go under 50 yards? Can't see them. That's more for Anita. My mom said, Josh, your dad swore he had an out-of-body experience. So, yeah, my dad described one of his out-of-body experiences. In addition to that, in one of our homes, we all had paranormal experiences, never told one another until I brought it up, and then we all shared it. My mom, my dad used to work for the railroad, would come in and out all different hours, right? So you never know when he was going to be home because it was like a rotating board, so his hours were never regular. Well, she expected him to be home, woke up, and saw him standing over her like he was saying goodnight. Now, Mom, correct me if I'm telling the story wrong, but then she rolled over and my dad was in bed.
Whoa.
And then she obviously snapped back and there was nobody there. And that's when we all started prompting telling these stories where we would see people walking through hallways, but never told each other.
Right.
And then I recorded some EVPs in that house who mentioned my brother by name and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Man.
Yeah. But yeah, we had some really weird stuff happen in that house. Just a quick update. DA had an internet outage. He will be back as soon as he can.
Gotcha.
And then my dad's out of body experience. My eldest sister, oldest sibling, was born in Germany. He was stationed out there for the army. And it was when he was with his mom, not mine, or her mom, not mine. And he said that one night he had a dream that he was looking over himself sleeping, and then went out and saw parts of the town that he had never seen before. Went over a couple different areas that he hadn't really walked to before. And then the next day went out there, and it was exactly the way he remembered in his so-called dream. Like the buildings looked the same. I think he said he went over a cemetery, and it was like perfect recall. He's like, I was there. He's like, I couldn't. Because it had to have been an out of body experience. He said it was the strangest feeling, and he also described being like snapped back, which is what a lot of people describe when they have like astral projection and out of body. So it was very, very interesting, to say the least, when he told me that story. I don't remember a lot of the details, but I do remember him saying he went and checked it out after and was just blown away at that this had to have happened.
Had that all that detail, and I've heard
Right.
a lot of people too that have that happen. They wake up exhausted because they really haven't been in sleep. You know, they had in sleep mode that night.
I do remember now that you mentioned that he said he woke up with sleep paralysis after that, where he woke up and was not able to move. Now I've had a lot of sleep paralysis, but I don't remember what's happened before that. I just remember waking up, but not waking up. It's the scariest thing if you've ever had it. You're awake, but you have no control of your body. Half the time you can't breathe. And I'm like screaming in my head, move, breathe, do something. And then suddenly you'll snap out of it. But yeah, he said he had paralysis after the experience and he was just terrified afterwards. Like he was just very emotional, very exhausted. It was crazy.
That's wild, man. Yeah. My wife lived in a historic home in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. It was built in like 1902. And basically the lady who had owned it, her husband built it for her. And then he died shortly thereafter. So back in the day, very uncommon for a woman to own property, right? So she fought tooth and nail to keep that property, and she turned it into a boarding house. Well, several people died there throughout the years, and she said that people would be over at the house and be like, "Oh, your baby's crying." You know, it was whenever her daughter, my stepdaughter, I called her my daughter when she was young, and I'm like, "Nope, she's asleep." And they're like, "No, the baby's crying up there." They would hear a baby crying, and they would all go up there, and then the crying would stop, and they'd open the room up, and of course Cammie was, dead to the world. They'd see shadow people, and my wife saw this one incident. One night something woke her up, and she sat up. She said, "I know this wasn't a dream. I wasn't drunk, not on sleep meds, anything like that." But she said she saw a glow out in the hallway, and it was getting brighter. And she sat up, and Cammie was laying right between her and her ex. And she said as the glow came to her doorway, and it was a face. And it was almost like one of those masks, like one of those opera type masks type things. But she said behind it, it was just a face, a head floating. And behind it was like a different color, multi-hued, like almost like I would think it'd probably be ectoplasmic residue or something.
Yeah.
And she said it turned and looked at her, and she was trying to wake her ex up. And she's like just hitting him, going, nothing would come out of her mouth. She couldn't even wake him up. She's like, "There's something over here," but it just looked at her and then turned back and just floated in the hallway. And then she said it just went into where the wall was, and she never saw it again. She said, "I think it was just that lady checking on the house." That was one of her bigger experiences. And I sketched it out one night for her. And she's like, that's it. That's it right there. So pretty interesting, man. Pretty interesting stuff. And Werewolf said it. All old hospitals are haunted.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I mean, dude, there's so much energy there.
Yeah.
So much energy there from people who passed on that to think that they're not. That's kind of a naive.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it not only is there so much energy from being passed on, I feel like sometimes people get attached or trapped because of catastrophic incidents. There's a lot of power behind tragedy. And so where you're going to get a lot of that, you have murder scenes, and then you have hospitals. Like those are kind of like your two big emotional, endings of life. And I wouldn't doubt it. Most, probably even new hospitals are fairly well haunted as well, but old ones are going to be thick with it.
Yeah, so much energy there. Absolutely, man.
Let's see. Troy says, had a few ghosts in my house. They haven't been around for some time now. One was a small boy. The other was a black profile that would walk in front of my door and stop. That's common to get. Sometimes your full bodies will just be more of a shadow. That's not uncommon at all. And what's cool is, I find it cool because I find the science of paranormal fascinating as well. Is you have different kinds of hauntings. You have your active hauntings. You've got residual hauntings. Residual are kind of like, for those that don't know, kind of think of it like a movie on playback. You're going to get a lot of the same things over and over again.
Yeah, it's just a loop.
And what's weird with those is they can come and go. And same with the actives. There's not a lot of, we don't have a lot of details behind because we're still constantly studying, but the active ones can sometimes be ended by helping them figure something out or why they're stuck there. Or, you know, there's a lot to do with ending the energy. There's a whole bunch of stuff, but if they're not malevolent, they could just be attached to an object or an area.
Mhm.
And if you can alleviate their desire to be there, sometimes you can get rid of active hauntings.
Yeah, that you can get them. Sometimes they just haven't figured out how to pass through the veil,
Yeah.
and cross over. Like a house my wife grew up in, when they were moving in, her brother said, ask her dad. He said, is the handyman still here or whatever? And his dad, there's no handyman here. He said, well, there's an old man that was up in the window.
Right.
And years later, they were fixed after a flood had happened. They were pulling up some of the flooring, and underneath the old floor, down in between the slats, there was a box, and they pulled it out, and it was all family photos. There was that old man
Wow.
that was in there, and because Matt was like, that's him. And then my wife's younger sister had this imaginary friend named Penelope, and so she was always talking to Penelope. And after a while, of course, Penelope went away. But years later, my wife's oldest daughter, Allie, was there when she was like 4, and they heard her talking to somebody, and they went in there. Her and Jenny both, her little sister, Jenny, my wife's sister, said, "Who are you talking to?" She said, "My friend." And they said, "Well, what's your friend's name?" She said, "Penelope." And they both were like, "What?" So,
Wait, what?
yeah, I mean, so not coincidental, and
No.
it's one of those things. It could be active, but there's also the residual that lose too. So,
And what's cool is you can actually end up with both with the same entity, which is even wilder because it makes it harder to figure out what's going on. Let's see.
Yeah.
Joe's dropped a bunch of nuggets about sleep paralysis, a lot about how not going into proper deep sleep or consciousness, which is probably very accurate, especially if you combine that with something like astral projection or even paranormal. You can kind of get stuck in that in between area. Let's see. Patty says, I had sleep paralysis for 5 nights in a row, and it was the worst experience. I'll share more soon. Yeah, Patty, be a great topic for the show that you and I are going to do, because we're going to do shows kind of focused on this particular topic in the future. Greg actually wants to join us. He's got some experiences. DA was talking about that earlier. Greg, I'll shoot you that link here in just a quick moment. I want to catch up on a couple of these real quick. Robert says, looks like the big guns were brought in to host. How y'all doing? Doing all right. Doing all right. Hope you're doing good out there. Got Sentinel in the house. DA's Mediacom is just trash lately. Let's see. Mediacom took a big crash. I've got nothing. Damn. He'll get back as soon as he can. Otherwise, we'll just kind of keep on rocking and wait for him. Let's see. John says you could also be more spiritual, another factor that can lead to the barrier of the mind between normal and abnormality. Yeah, possibly. Richie says, I've got a black shadow in my house near me, Crystal River, Florida. There's an Indian burial ground about 2 miles away down the block state park. I would imagine there'd be a lot of activity, not only around Indian burial grounds, especially around some where there was a lot of tragedy. I mean, I imagine a lot of Indian burial grounds had tragedy, but I've always fuzzy on my history, but weren't a lot of the Florida Native Americans pushed out? Like there was a whole trail.
Yeah. The Trail of Tears, man.
Is that the Trail of Tears that came out of Florida? I wasn't sure. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of Indian burial grounds had some stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the battlefields, major battlefields, Antietam, Gettysburg, Vicksburg, Shiloh, all those, the Corinth, all those Civil War battlefields have had an abnormally high, not abnormally high, I guess, for the thousands of lives that were lost there. They've had a high number of I think residual, a lot of loop energy hauntings, hearing gunshots and cannon fire and screams and things like that. So I mean, my daughter's very empathic, and we were in Scotland a few years back, and we went to Culloden the battlefield at Culloden outside Inverness, and a lot of energy there, man. That place was
I bet.
dark. The place was dark. You know,
Night, Mom.
1,500 people killed in 45 minutes. They estimated probably 2,500, but killed in 45 minutes. Yeah, a lot of death. So pretty crazy stuff.
Hooter says, Dogman chewed through the internet cables. They're going after DA.
Yeah.
Hey, Greg, how's it going, bud?
Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Got you
Okay,
by.
good. I have to kind of keep my voice down a little bit, and I'm getting over my own round of allergies and stuff, so it sounds a little harsh, but
That's all right.
Yeah, you don't have to look far to find this kind of thing going on, and it goes on a lot more often, in my opinion, anyways. It goes on a lot more often than people care to admit, because a lot, especially like I was saying, like care facilities and whatnot, and they do not like to talk about it.
My ex used to work at a couple care facilities to the point where she wanted to continue being a nurse, but didn't want to work at a care facility. This is one of the reasons why. She had someone new come on, and they open the door the window when someone passes. A lot of times it's habit, but my ex was like, no, we do that for a reason. And you know, there's a lot of things that they'll do and not talk about, and there's reasons why they do them, because like you said, there's a lot of activity.
Yeah. I worked, the company I worked for, I won't name names, but anybody that knows the Springfield area can probably figure out who I'm talking about. I worked in 2 of their locations as a caregiver, and they both had activity.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was relatively benign. The other one, from what the other employees that had worked there told me, flat out had a demon.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm not surprised.
And the working theory is it's because there's so much suffering in some of these places that it acts like a magnet almost.
And that's kind of what John's saying here. You know, you could probably talk about dark entities being attracted to such places because there's so much angry human souls who weren't quite done. And this, I think he meant this specifically towards the Indian burial grounds, but you can kind of apply this to where there's large concentrations of people in general, battlefields, even hospitals, you know, being angry that they've passed and aren't quite ready.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's a conduit.
Mm-hmm.
The second of the 2 places was the one that had the demon, and at least one of my coworkers actually saw it, and it really freaked me out when they talked about it. They said, so I was stupid, and I asked them, so what did it look like? They said, think about the movie Gremlins, only 6 feet tall.
That's pretty terrifying, right?
Yikes. There. No, yeah, I don't I want to experience paranormal. I do not want to experience that.
Yeah, and I worked there for several years after I heard that, but I worked the overnight shift, and I was the only caregiver in the facility. Mm-hmm. And yeah, not having that kind of knowledge, and there were certain rooms that if I went into them, I went in, I did what I had to do, and I got the hell out of there just as fast as I could. Yeah. Because there was this one place I was told, you know, this is where this thing likes to hang out. And yeah, I mean, and I'm mildly sensitive, and I'd always been uncomfortable going through there, which was unfortunate because I had to do it practically every night as part of my duties.
Right.
And after they told me just exactly what it was and why I was feeling that uncomfortable, like I said, I got in there, I did what I had to do, I did it as quickly as possible, and I got the hell out.
Well, I mean, yeah, we had at the hospital I worked at in the Air Force, we had things happening all the time. I was there all night long, only person in there on the ground floor at nights. Call lights would go off, doors would slam, toilets would flush. So there was all kinds of activity going on there. And, I know there was nobody down there screwing with me because I was the only one there on the bottom floor. So, it's that energy. You can feel it, like you said. Something is there, and I would put the folders in the doctor's doors like on rollers, trying to trying to get through that hospital.
Get in, get out.
Yeah, get in, get out, man. Just get the hell out of Dodge. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, Brian just topped in. How are you doing, Brian? Appreciate you dropping in with us. I don't have DA's show notes, but I do know he mentioned Amityville was another one he wanted to talk about. So real quickly, a snapshot of the historical background, a very brief of Amityville for those who don't know. On November 13th, 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr. shot and killed 6 members of his family at 112 Ocean Avenue, a large Dutch colonial house situated in the suburban neighborhood of Amityville on the south shore of Long Island, New York. He was convicted of second-degree murder in November 75, sentenced to 6 sentences of 25 years to life in prison. DeFeo would go on to die in custody March of 2021, so he just recently passed away. December 75, George and Kathy Lutz and 3 children moved into the house. After 28 days, the Lutzes fled the house, claiming to have been terrorized by paranormal phenomenon while living there. And then obviously the books and movies have built on top of that.
Yeah, they left some of the more spectacular stuff that was alleged in the books out of the movies, though, unfortunately.
Probably because it was so, I don't want to say out there because that doesn't make it sound true, but it was so outstanding that people probably would not have accepted it as reality, because someone brought it up earlier about how we turn a blind eye to a lot of these things. They happen so much. Greg, is that what you were saying when you first popped in, that these things happen so much that we just don't think about it?
No, I said they happen a lot more often than people think.
Right.
But a lot of places don't like to talk about it.
Right. And I think in addition to that, though,
to the point where I was at, because all the employees had at one point had gotten to discussing, the stuff that was going on in this one particular location, and our management basically came to us and said, "Shut up."
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what happened even in my family. Like I said earlier, we all had stuff going on and we just didn't talk about it. And I think in addition to that, and I think this applies to the cryptids as well, that we see things, and we talked about this earlier, Doc, when we have incidents happen to us, your brain tries to rationalize these things.
Yep.
And if it's too outstanding, you're just like, well, there's no way in hell that could have happened. Right. Or you just go catatonic.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I mean, it's almost like it overloads the rational mind, and your rational mind is going, you're not seeing this, but your other mind, your logical analytical mind is going, you're not seeing this, but your other part of your body is going, yeah, pretty sure we just saw that. And I think a lot more people, cryptids, any of the paranormal, anything like that, they don't come forward. I think it happens to a lot more people than is talked about, because there's still a stigma. There's still a stigma associated with it. Oh, you don't want to be. People are going to think I'm a kook. People are going to think I'm nuts if I talk about this. So there's some stigma still associated with it, but I think it happens a far greater number of times than is actually talked about.
Oh, well, absolutely.
I mean, just look, and okay. Granted, a lot of this could be completely fabricated even by the programs, but I mean, look at all the supernatural programs that do like the recreation stuff. Mm-hmm. Stuff that's like on the Travel Channel and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Yet, if you add up all the numbers of incidences on those shows, this stuff is happening all the time.
All the time.
And people just don't talk about it.
100%.
Or they talk about it in the format like one of those shows that does, like the recreations, like These Woods Are Haunted,
Mhm.
and some of
Yeah.
that, and they do it in formats that don't exactly lend themselves to maximum credibility.
Yeah,
Right.
and I've had people flat out in classes. We get off the subject sometimes, start talking about ghosts and things like that. I've had people flat out say that they aren't real, and I was like, dude, I've had doors slam open in front of me. I've seen things. He said, the door just wasn't hung correctly. I was like, the door was shut. The bolt was through. Was in
Right.
in the strike plate. It was there.
Well,
I
Carrie, you
saw
must
it.
have been mistaken.
I must have been mistaken.
Anything to rationalize for their own mind.
Exactly.
Because I have a perfect example of this. My fiance, love her to death, but she refuses to believe in a lot of this stuff, even though I think she does. Because when I start showing her like the pictures from DA's video or experiences I've had, she's like, no. Perfect princess world. Perfect princess world. That's her kind of go-to. She's like, I don't want it to exist. So therefore it doesn't.
Yeah. It's easier to just do this.
Yeah.
Don't see it.
If
I don't see it or I refuse to believe it, then it's not there.
Yeah.
Until something is like right in your face, and then you're honestly you're not given much of a choice at that stage. So
nope. All right, I'm gonna jump. Oh, go ahead, Greg.
I was going to say, hard to not believe in Bigfoot when it's trying to eat your face.
And that's the other thing. It's easy to say something doesn't exist until it happens to you. I mean, you got to give them that a little bit, but when so many people are claiming something, it's hard to brush it all under the rug.
Well,
sure,
and
some of them might be crazy, but not all of them are.
And I've personally experienced the phenomenon of people laughing at me and telling, don't laugh about the supernatural until it happens to you. And they look at me straight in the face and just laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, let them. Northwood says, my dad told me that when he was stationed in Germany, he went to a site concentration camps. He wouldn't go into detail about exactly what happened, just said it completely creeped him out. I don't doubt it. It's probably similar to the battlefields and stuff. There's probably a lot of weird energy there.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, and then John followed up saying those are some of the closest things to hell on earth that ever existed. I mean, you're not wrong. Probably, and he goes, probably even worse than hell to all those who have suffered. Let's see.
Yeah.
Richie says, I used to live in Amityville about 2-3 miles away. Interesting. Do you ever see the house while you were there? Let's see.
The funny thing is, my understanding is that they actually moved that house to a different lot because so many people were stopping by trying to catch a glimpse of it.
They also remodeled the hell out of it to change the look of it, so it was harder to find.
Yeah, especially those creepy windows in the attic.
Yeah. Lenita says, Super Chat is stuck. I tried. Don't worry about it. DA is not worried about it. I push it because I want him to reinvest a lot of that money into growing the show and stuff. And he's super humble. But you guys should send Super Chats. Do it. Do it now.
I was going to say something about Amityville. That's a good example of what I was saying about credibility being everything when it comes to talking about this, because Amityville's credibility, frankly, took a huge hit once some of the people started talking about some of the less than completely accurate stuff that the Warrens were coming up with, and they were involved in that case up to the hilt afterwards.
Yeah. Greg, what do you feel about, and Doc, you too, what do you think of them?
You want to go first?
I'm torn, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I do think there's some credibility there, but do I think maybe some of the things were over dramatized, maybe a little sensationalism there.
That's kind of where I'm at. It's like they're building on stuff that happened to just to
build their base, But
I agree. I'm torn too. And I'm going to say something. This is completely my opinion, and I know immediately people are going to sound kooky. Something about the whole Amityville situation just doesn't strike me as right. It's like people are trying a little too hard to discredit it. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Okay, the Warrens are iffy and questionable, but then there's other things that just make me go,
Yeah.
But what about this? What about that? One of the things they don't like to talk about, there's actually a picture that was taken in the Amityville house. And it shows a little boy's face peeking out of one of the upstairs bedrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And you can find it if you look it up online. But
Gotcha.
it's creepy as hell. And and everybody in the group that was there the night that picture was taken said there were no kids with us and there were no kids in the house because the Lutzes had already moved out.
Wow. Yeah. Well, as John said it, most legends had a hidden truth, and I think that's where we are with the Warrens. I mean, there was definitely some truth there, but I think there might have been some embellishments or some artistic license taken with that. Some of the stuff.
Well, and of course the other thing was, and this is one of the areas where I kind of feel a little sorry for them because they worked a lot with Catholic priests and whatnot, and. You were talking earlier about how the Catholics are still doing lots of exorcisms and they don't talk about it. I think the problem was.
No, I'm green. Yeah, continue.
I think this may kind of resolve the question in my mind. Maybe I think the wards became too public, too visible.
Yeah, that could
and
be.
And then all the people that were working with them, like some of the priests and whatnot, were basically told. Disassociate yourselves.
Yeah.
And in some cases, not just disassociate yourselves, but actually make accusations about them. Basically, shut these people up. They're saying too much.
It's too controversial at that point. Yeah.
Hooter Transport Super Chat, $5. DA will appreciate that. He says he got his order in for Dark Angel for Christmas.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. God bless you.
Let's see. I jumped down because we got the super chat. Heading back up real quick to catch up. We got comment from Hooter. Also went to the Dachau concentration camp outside Munich. Very solemn, eerie feeling. I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
You couldn't pay me to go to a place like that.
Susan says, "Good evening, everyone." Oh, Susan. DA unfortunately is not with us right now. He's struggling with some internet issues. But I know he wanted to personally say thank you, and he has some product that he wanted to share with us that you graciously sent him a gift for. But he got kicked off the internet, so hopefully he'll be rejoining us. Richie says, from that house, a big time ghost in that town. Tons of Indians were killed by me in Amityville. I'm not sure.
That's the rumor, anyways.
Right.
And that's one of the things I think that came out in some of the like the later like the sequel movies and whatnot. They talked about the supposedly the ground that the house was built on was cursed because it was ground that the Native Americans used to send their lunatics to go fend for themselves in the woods until they died.
Right.
So they're like banished or exiled from the tribe.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Hey. The man, the myth, the legend.
Well, that was an ordeal.
Hey, Doug.
Hey, how's it going, dude?
Hey, brother.
Freaking MediaCom, man. Oh.
I've been trying and probably for the most part failing to keep contributing to the show in your absence, Doug.
No, you're doing a great job, man. John says it doesn't matter. It's like ghosts aren't going to care if they believe in you and not. You believe in them or not. Let's see. Trying to catch up on these for you here, DA. Brian says, I love those non-believers, especially when you capture something on investigation. We've actually had that ourselves. Just showed our video. DA's video, but one that I worked on, and in that reveal, we had some pushback, basically calling us out when DA doesn't have the capability, and
I suck at video.
I'm not going to do that. This is just not my personality. I mean, you can talk to the people that know me, DA. I'm very, this is what you see, this is what you get. We behind the scenes bitch about fake videos and pictures all the time. We'll send each other stuff and be like, this is bullshit. Why are people doing stupid shit like this? You know?
Yeah.
So we're not going to do it ourselves. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, you were talking earlier. I can't remember if it was in the pre-show or in the early part of the show. You were talking about deep fake and AI and AIs and what they could do with voices and the images. And that's basically, unfortunately, it's going to lead to the point where, I mean, especially in things like parapsychology, you know, you could get the most perfect ghost video ever, and it's not going to have any credibility.
Yep. Absolutely. I completely agree.
And with something like ghosts, that's about all you can get other than eyewitness testimony.
Let's see. Patty says, just like your fiance, until it happened to me. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what we were saying. Everyone's a skeptic until it happens. Marshall says, my father visited my daughter age 5. He died 4 months before she was born. I hear a lot of stories about grandparents or passed away parents visiting children. Yep. My ex had it happen to her. Her grandparents visited her twins. They would talk about it and she would see them. It was very unique incident.
Yeah. My mother visited my daughter. My daughter was only 9 months when she died, and she had said, hey, she's got a boo-boo on her tummy. I think DA just dropped again.
He did.
Yeah. She said she's got a bobo on her tummy, and my mom had like a big mass on her stomach. They had done a surgery on her. And she said she sings to me, but it scares me. I said, what'd she sing to you? She said she sings Jesus Loves Me. And that was the song that my mom sang to all the grandbabies, sang to us as we were little kids. And so, you know, not a coincidence, you know.
No, not at all.
Not a coincidence.
Okay.
It's me. I'm back again.
Well, right as you dropped out, Patty sent you a $10 super chat saying, welcome back, DA.
Woo.
And then you were gone. I'm going to have to jump forward on a bunch of comments because we got kind of behind. So we'll just pick up here. Sorry if I missed anybody, but I did grab a photo from Amityville. I don't know if this is the one people were talking about or not. There's a creepy picture of a boy that's not supposed to be there.
That's it. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about.
Really kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
And John, I don't necessarily believe that either, that if it's too blurry, it's misidentification. I think what people need to do is if it's too blurry, then it's unidentifiable. Not so much misidentification, because it could be Dogman, it could be Bigfoot, it could be a ghost, and we lost DA again.
No, he's still there.
He's froze as hell. He'll be dropping off here shortly. Yeah. I
think the point John was trying to make was, though, if it's too much one way, it's one thing. If it's too much the other way, it's the other. Basically, the skeptics have a way to dismiss it no matter what it is.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. No, I can see that. Yeah. If it's, I didn't see his other comment. If it's too clear, it's fake. If it's too blurry, gotcha. Yeah. Gotcha. Sorry, John, I missed your first comment. Absolutely. Let's see. Richie says, my cousin husband family lived in Amityville since 1870. The house I lived in, a studio apartment, her family owned that building day one. Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I'm tracking now, John. Sorry, I missed, like I said, the first part of your comment. Linnea says, I can clearly see a child on the stairway. Yep, absolutely. Restream's kind of lagging on a little bit too. John says, even if the only way a video could be proof would be for several million people to see something on live television. And even then,
I was going to say that, man.
It's not going to work, because the way AI works nowadays, and how fast computers are, they can fake things in real time.
Yeah, there's still people are still going to say, even if it was real, there's still going to be a lot of people saying that's fake.
Yeah.
Well, and this is something I can't remember. I think this came up once because we were talking about the haunted castle here in Springfield.
Mhm.
And this one show that just really annoys me is called Ghost Adventures.
Yeah.
And I hate it when they because one of the things they always drag out, I think it's called the SLS. It's basically the camera that they throw up the image and it draws all the little stick figures on it.
Right.
And I'm like, that's not evidence of anything.
No, and I think that can be useful in addition to other tools, but you can't rely on one single tool in any case, whether it's a good tool or not. I don't think that investigators should be relying on a single tool, and they focus on some of these way too much.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like the ghost boxes. Like, I have an app on my phone that functions a lot like a ghost box, but just as much as it can be proof of a ghost using it, it could be just as random. And same with the SLS. I've used the SLS before myself, and I've gotten what I know is a false positive 100%. Because, like I said, the only tool that I trust, and even then, is myself. And even then, there are times that I don't trust myself. And I know when I'm getting activity and can feel it, and when I'm getting activity and I can't feel it. So, I don't know. Let's see. Is there any other big... Well, hold on real quick. Marshall says Amityville was a hoax, according to... Oh, it jumped on me. According to Art Bell, they say Amityville was a hoax. And, it could have been. We don't know. We weren't there. A lot of what we go on is... Like we were just saying, it's all personal accounts, and how much can we trust, this person over that person? Or you guys stick around this time, DA?
MediaCom. I seem to be bypassing like a Christmas tree tonight.
Well, you're giving her all she can, Scotty.
Yeah. I'm giving her all she's got, and she's still holding together.
I'll be right back. 1 second.
Glad to see you back there, DA.
Well, I don't know how long it'll be.
Yeah, we were just talking about Amityville.
That's a great story. That house is up for sale.
Again?
Yeah, it doesn't stay in the market. No, it doesn't stay off the market very long. It's always back up. Well, turned into a bed and breakfast.
Well, a lot of people say, all the people, nobody's lived there since has seen anything. But then again, why is it always going back on the market?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's the evidence that we should be looking at, is things that aren't in your face.
Yeah.
A lot of evidence that's irrefutable, like the house changing hands every 6 months to a year.
Yeah. You wouldn't catch my country ass in there, that's for sure.
Well, there's another case, and I'm going off of memory here. Have any of the rest of you heard about the so-called Smurl demon?
Mm-mm.
SMERL. It was a family that basically, it's really creepy. And they actually made one of those 70s TV movies about the case, that basically had a massive problem with the demon. And I've been trying to track it down. So far, I haven't. But supposedly, there were even events happened that were documented by the local paper with law enforcement support, of activity at the house that could be heard from the street while the family was out of town and the house was empty.
Yeah, it's the Smurl haunting, SMURL haunting.
Yeah, that's the one.
In Pennsylvania, who alleged a demon inhabited her home between 1974 and 1989, gained wide press attention and were investigated by a demonologist who encouraged the family's supernatural beliefs, clergy, psychologists, and scientific skeptics who offered more parsimonious explanations. The Smurls' version of their story was the subject of a 1986 paperback titled The Haunted, and a 1991 made-for-TV movie of the same name released. By
91? I thought it was the 70s. Wow.
Yeah, it was a 91. It was 74 actually 89, but the movie came out in 91.
Ah, okay.
The book came out in 86 called The Haunted.
Another Warren case. They were looks like they were involved in it as well.
Oh, were they? Okay.
And that's the other thing is
Yep,
the Warrens were involved in just about every major supernatural incident for what, 25, 30 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but this professor at University of New York, Buffalo, said the Warrens weren't objective, independent, or impartial investigators and characterized their claims as a hoax, a charade, and a ghost story.
Which possibly.
Well, the thing is, they weren't really there to be quote unquote investigators. They were there to help the family. So yeah, they were going to have a point of view. They weren't going to sit there and, with, clipboards and, all kinds of measuring instruments and just document stuff. They were there basically to give peace to people that were under supernatural attack.
Yeah.
Well, and this kind of casts light on that as a possibility as well, because apparently the Smurls told the press that they were tired of the constant media bombardment. But just a few months after that claim, they worked with the Warrens to put the book out. So, like, how do you make the claim that we're tired of all this attention? But here's a book. We want all the attention. I don't.
We're tired of the scrutiny. Here's a book. Give us more scrutiny. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Now, here's a case I don't think the Warrens were involved in. And it's an older case. Have any of you guys heard of the so-called The Entity case?
No,
I have not.
At least not by that name. No,
that's usually the name I've been able to find it under. It was about a woman and her family.
Doris Bither.
That sounds right.
Because I looked it up. It says Doris Bither, otherwise known as The Entity Haunting in 74, Culver, California.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think that one gets enough attention because that one actually was primarily documented by scientists. And I heard they had some really freaky things documented.
Wow.
Yeah, it says the Doris Bither case, 74, Culver, California, experienced by a woman named Doris Bither. The case inspired the 78 book and the 82 movie. Doesn't say that she was involved in those. I find that always encouraging that the person it happened to isn't really involved in the hype. That feels better, if that makes sense.
Well, considering what supposedly happened to the poor woman, and I won't go into too many details. You could probably figure where I'm going with that. Yeah,
no, that tends to happen with some violent stuff. Supposedly that happened in the demon case as well. Let me see if I can find. I doubt they're online, but I'll see if I can find some of the Blither photographs.
Thought maybe if I change hats, my luck would get better.
Shady's back again.
If he keeps resurrecting from the dead like this, we may have to send one of the teams after him.
My man.
All right. Obviously,
can't promise how long I'll be here.
Unfortunately, unless I were to go probably into the dark web, I probably won't find those. And I don't feel like doing that because I always stumble upon things that I'm not supposed to see when you go to the dark web. It's not a fun place to hang out.
Never been there.
Don't.
Wouldn't even know how to get there. That's for sure.
It's not hard. That's the scary thing. It's a little bit of research. You'll end up there and you find things that.
Or just wind up there completely by accident. You're like, how the heck did I get here?
Yeah.
Well, you tend to not unsee certain things.
That's true.
Let's see. Conjuring House is supposedly still on the market. I think we lost DA again.
Bless his heart. That sucks, man.
He's trying.
So frustrating.
If you want to see
my
something,
my internet's actually good tonight, and his is shite. So
right?
yeah,
If you want to see something bad enough, sometimes the brain will trick you into seeing it. Yeah, that
Yeah.
pareidolia. I mean, that's something we run into a lot with apparitions, with cryptid photos. You know, unfortunately, apparently, anytime anyone goes to take a picture of any of these things, their high-end iPhone or Galaxy Samsung turns into a potato. I have a theory about that, but one, I think they're so far away that the zoom makes it look like it's a potato. And two, I think there's a lot of energy involved in this, which also ruins the quality of the film. Plus, I think people are making fake pictures and videos, and that's the third part of that.
Well, then again, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, because there a lot of skeptics would look at a perfectly, perfect, crystal clear, clearly you can see what you're looking at or hear what you're supposed to be hearing. They're going, you're seeing things, you're hearing things.
Right.
Yeah. And like I said, I keep going back to DA's video. It's not the cleanest thing. I'll admit that. It's super blurry. It was hard just to get what we got out of it. But the chain of custody was DA, me, and Adam. Like there's no one in between.
Yeah.
So I know something is there. Everyone can admit they see something there that shouldn't be there. And we verified heights. We know how far away it was. There's things that we can eliminate. So while we know it, we're not claiming it's Bigfoot or Dogman, but at the same time, we also know it's not a deer, it's not a bear, it's not a cougar, it's not a person. Your list
as hell is what it
your
is.
list of possibilities narrows quickly when you start checking things off. And yet people are still like, it's real convenient. You write a book and suddenly you've got evidence. Well, he had the evidence before he wrote the book. So there's that for you.
Yeah.
It debunks that theory. Lenita says, Carrie, you're all clear tonight. Good to see you.
Good. Somebody asked me what I was drinking. That's my go-to right there. Bullet.
All right, D, I'm going to have to ask you to stop doing that.
Yeah, nobody wants to stop that more than me.
We're just going to keep giving you hell, though, every time you cycle back in. Oh,
it's Schrodinger's Doug. He's both there and not there.
Yeah, he is. John says, it's all fun and games until we get the ghost of a scientist who proceeds to actively attempt to prove himself to exist.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It's Spectral Copernicus.
Sean says, in the movie 3 Men and a Baby, they caught a little. Actually, the ghost in 3 Men and a Little Baby is actually been debunked. There was a cutout off camera that got double refracted into the mirror and made it look like there was a kid behind the drapes. So
that was creepy.
It was creepy as hell, but they were able to debunk that through some clever image. I hate using the word editing, but that's kind of what it is. Sharpening. They were able to clear up the ghost image, and it actually brought out one of the cutouts that was off camera.
Ah, gotcha.
Let's see.
That'd be a whole other show you could do about so-called cursed movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Poltergeist was one that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
John, you're right. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to keep a steady hand anyway if you're looking at something like a ghost or a Bigfoot. And like I said, a lot of times these people are zooming in anyway. So even just minor movements are highly exaggerated when you're zoomed in. I've tried taking like pictures of the moon because the new Samsungs like use AI to sharpen it up to get a really cool picture of the moon. But the problem is you move just a tiny bit, and that thing's all over the screen.
Yep.
Well, the darn thing is the darn things anymore, just like cameras. You almost need to have a stand in a tripod.
Yeah. But and then here's the thing. Why'd you go out into the woods with a camera and a tripod? Were you expecting to see something? So now you're being debunked for being prepared. So it doesn't matter what you do.
Well, that falls into the category of dishonest debating in the first place.
Yeah. Now Go ahead.
No, so there's going to be folks that would piss them on if walking down the street of gold eating a free ice cream cone. You know what I mean? So
That's a fact.
They're gonna find one something to bitch about.
And he's gone again.
Yep.
Y'all ever watch South Park? And it's gone.
And it's gone.
Oh,
poor DA. I feel bad for him.
yeah, he loves these damn shows and
I know
can't be here. He said he's going to raise hell with MediaCom. I said, hell yeah, because this plays into his business.
absolutely.
So basically, he says he's going to raise MediaCom.
Yeah,
Because we all know MediaCom is hell.
Yeah.
In my opinion, don't sue me.
Well, you're in town too, aren't you, Greg? Don't you have MediaCom there?
I have no idea what we've got here.
I wouldn't be surprised. And see, what's interesting is last time he had issues, Roper, who has MediaCom, did not have any issues. So it's like kind of selective where DA is at. I bet you they need to upgrade his local. Oh God, what's the box out on the corners? It's like a relay station.
Router?
I bet you. Well, it's like the neighborhood router. It's like the big green, like boxes that they use for like a couple of blocks. They'll route everybody through that. And, but yeah, they need to upgrade his shit.
Node, whatever.
No, I think that's right. That sounds about right. It's been a while since I've done internet. Let's see. Cryptoville says I have it, but no issues here. Yeah, like I said, I feel like it's isolated to his like block region. Lenita says, Josh, when you take a pic, enlarge it and make it more clear. Email so small instead of normal size. Stumped. Okay. When you take a pic, enlarge it and make it more clear. Email so small instead of normal size. Stumped. Okay, so you're wanting to email a large resolution photo, and I know some email programs, especially on your phone, will say, I don't want to do that because it's too big. So what I suggest is that there's places where you can go to upload it that will not compress it, and then you can send a link to that person. Or better yet, get like a cloud drive like Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive, upload it to that, and then you can share it from there. That way you're not sending the full file.
And do not share anything via Facebook because it will compress the heck out of stuff.
Yes. We'll share amongst ourselves like concept images for art and stuff like that. But when it's finalized, we always email the large resolution and usually a link to the full file within the cloud. So try doing that. Hi, DA.
Hey. Well, let's see how long it lasts this time.
I'm going to hit the timer. Here we go.
I
Okay.
invented a new drinking game. Every time I disappear, take a drink. Every time I disappear and reappear quickly, 2 drinks.
I'd be in a coma tonight, man.
Cryptid says he has MediaCom and has no issues. And remember last time you had issues, Matt didn't have any issues either. So I'm wondering if like your like node for your couple of blocks needs an upgrade of some sort.
It's got to be because the modem and router are brand new.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm going to raise 9 kinds of hell with MediaCom come Monday.
So basically, you're going to ask MediaCom to raise itself.
Yeah. There's going to be more than one getting dismembered. It's going to be a internet crew out working on a power pole gets ripped to shreds by a group of dogmen.
Hey, what
slowly and painfully?
What happened to all those
strip of flesh at a time?
Media Connect guys? Man, that was just terrible. Those Media Connect guys.
Oh man, that would be funny.
What do you say? John says you should simply imply the internet technicians are human enough to be mortal.
Interesting point.
Yeah, no problem, Anita. She was asking about how to send high quality photos and videos because she has trouble in email, compresses things sometimes. We're telling her best thing, upload it to a cloud and send a link. Keeps it from breaking down. General says barking up the right power pole.
Or peeing on it, whichever.
Yeah.
Oh, DA, while we got you, before we lose you, Susan was in chat. I don't know if she still is or not. I told her that you wanted to say thank you. It was while you were dipped out there for a moment. Oh man.
Dadgum, man. Well,
My
Yeah.
guess is
just exactly what internet gods has he offended tonight?
I don't know,
Yeah.
but my guess is they're actively working on his node. And so what's happening is it's going up and down because they're probably doing constant repairs and replacing things and fixing certain connections and stuff. So that's probably why he's.
we think we got it.
Oh wait!
Oh,
Ooh.
wait a minute, no,
That was really weird. You were there for a second right before you dropped out and came back in.
Yeah, we'll see how long it
Pearson's,
lasts this time.
Parsons.
Isn't that
Yeah.
who you said sent you that?
Doug,
she's still here.
No?
Whoever you thought you were sending that private chat to, you send it to me.
No,
It
it went to all of
everybody.
us.
Oh, did
Was
it?
did I get the name wrong?
Yeah.
So Susan, disregard. I thought he said your name. It was somebody else. So never
Give me a
mind.
second. I will pull up. As long as my phone's actually working now.
It was during pre-show when we were talking about like 6 different things. So I probably just got the name wrong. So disregard Susan. She's probably thinking, I didn't send him shit. I mean, I'll put my name on it. Why not? Hooter says, oh, that's it. Dogman's peeing on the power pole, marking his territory. Yep. Shorten out your router.
There he goes. He's gone.
Yep. Gone.
He gone. He gone.
Man.
Well, crap.
So, you guys been
Don't
doing anything interesting the last few days?
Filling orders. Birthdays in boxes.
I don't know where I got Susan from that. Clearly, I wasn't paying attention, so you caught me. You caught me there.
Yeah, well, she sent me a gift certificate for some mead, and the one I picked up, Wild Hunt mead, and another one called Valkyrie's Choice. And after the way this show's been going, I definitely need something stiff to drink, so I'm going to be drinking this.
Hell yeah! Take off these hats.
Ooh,
Why do they need to take their hats off?
So, in a desperate attempt to get us back on topic while we actually have Doug with us,
Yes.
what other major events were you wanting to cover, Doug?
Yeah, because we hit Amityville kind of while you were bouncing in and out.
Well, we'll see if I can actually stick around. I wanted to talk about the Bell Witch.
Oh,
Ooh, nice.
gotcha. Okay, that's a
That's
good
another one that the Warrens can't be accused of screwing up.
one. Feel like I've seen something on the Bell Witch recently.
Yeah, there's a lot about it. That whole family was haunted for for a couple of generations, and they say it's that entire property still haunted to this day.
Mm-hmm.
I had research pulled up on the Bell Witch, which is all gone now because I've had to reset everything. Reset the router twice. I've reset the computer at least 3 times.
Now, DA, where was the Bell Witch? Is that up in Tennessee or the Carolinas?
I believe it's in Tennessee.
Okay.
Let me check.
I've got something pulled up here real quick. I can read the snapshot for you.
Go for it. Yeah, it's in Robertson County, Tennessee.
Yep.
Okay.
Is a legend from the southern United States folklore, 19th century Bell family of the Northwest, Robertson County, Tennessee. Farmer John Bell Sr. resided with his family along the Red River in an area currently known as the town of Adams. According to legend, from 1817 to 1821, his family in the local area came under attack mostly by an invisible entity that was able to speak, affect the physical environment, as well as shapeshift. Some accounts record the spirit also to have been clairvoyant and capable of crossing long distances with superhuman speed, and or being in more place at one time. In 1894, the newspaper editor Martin V. Ingram published The Authenticated History of the Bell Witch. The book is widely regarded as the first full-length record of the legend and primary source for subsequent treatments. The individuals recorded in the work were known historical personalities. In modern times, some skeptics has regarded Ingram's efforts as work of fiction or fraud. Other researchers consider Ingram's work a nascent. Is that a word? How do you pronounce that? Nascent.
Nascent.
Nascent. Is that like important?
Yeah, nascent.
Nascent. Okay.
It means just beginning or newly beginning.
So someone's trying to get fancy on Wikipedia. Check. Okay, gotcha. Folklore study and an accurate reflection of belief in the region during the 19th century. While not a fundamental element of the original recorded legend, the Bell Witch Cave in the 20th century became a source of continuing interest, belief, and generation of lore. Contemporary artistic interpretation, such as film and music, have explained the reach beyond the regional confines to the southern United States. Whew.
All right,
Yeah.
then.
That was the snapshot because there's a shit ton of stuff on the Bell Witch. Andrew Jackson has some involvement. There was supposedly a cover-up. I kind of remember this now. It was on one of the Discovery Channel shows that I watch that's not Ghost Adventures. They actually do a really good job of digging into stuff. And they did a big article or big show on the Bell Witch.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of cool stuff around it.
It's a really cool story, and it's affected people like more than one generation.
Now, is it based off of you said it was a spirit, but does it go back to an actual witch?
Yeah, there was a witch that lived in the area, and the progenitor of the Bell family apparently crossed paths with her in some way and pissed her off, and she put a curse on the family.
Gotcha.
I think it had something over a land dispute, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Ghost Adventures did do an episode, but that's not the one I watched. DA, it was Expedition X. It was Josh Gates' spinoff crew, which I highly recommend. If you enjoy Josh Gates doing Expedition Unknown, he's got another team that does some wild stuff. They did one with the Mothman too, which was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that Expedition X is pretty good.
Yep.
He's got a better reputation too.
He just seems like a guy who really just enjoys getting a kick out of going places and doing stuff. And I trust that. You know, if I want to sit down and have a beer with you, I'd probably find you somewhat credible and enjoyable to listen to. If I don't want to kick you in the teeth, we're getting somewhere.
All right.
Yeah, those Ghost Adventures and Squatch Hunters, whatever the hell they're finding Squatches, can all go.
Bigfoot.
the show that shall not be named.
Yeah.
We gotta go find us a Sam Squatch.
Right. Go holler in the woods like a bunch of idiots.
Boys, I gotta tell you, this Wild Hunt's pretty good, but it's got a kick to it. It's like 16.9% or something like that.
Woo! That's spicy.
I ain't drinking two of them. One'll do you.
Yeah.
Someone. Oh, go ahead, Doc.
Not unless you want to be in a coma.
Someone said maybe just it might have been your hat causing the bad juju, because since you switched to the straw hat, you've been fine.
Well, yeah, it kicked me out a couple times, but it seems to be okay at the moment.
Yeah.
Apparently, I need to stick to the Kolchak hat when on the air.
Yeah.
Next time DA comes to LBL, he should go to the Bell Witch Cave. It's not too far.
Well, my wife and I were planning a trip to LBL for November of this year, but because of the car wreck, we didn't get to do it. And we're still dealing with that. They haven't freaking settled out, so we can even buy a new vehicle yet.
Oh man, that sucks. Go insurance.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get hit by a meth head with no insurance.
Oh my lord.
Kate Batts was apparently the name of the witch. She hated John Bell because she claimed her land was stolen.
Mhm.
I
It was over a
mean,
land dispute of some sort.
if a witch claims your land stolen, I mean, take the high road. Just let her have it. I don't want to be cursed for 100 years. So,
Yeah.
Either that or throw water on her.
yeah, right.
I don't think she's the I'm melting kind of witch.
Yeah.
Good night, Marshall.
Now,
Not
Marshall.
Marshall.
You know, I
Ugh.
probably ought to apologize for that remark. It was rather insensitive.
Uh,
No, I do mean that. You know, anybody out there listening that might be of a paganistic persuasion, I didn't mean anything by it. I was just trying to make a joke.
I don't think anybody took it that
No.
way. It was more of a Wizard of Oz reference than anything
Yeah.
else.
I mean, you got a couple pagans on the channel. We're fine with it. It's good.
You know, where you get the plot synopsis of Wizard of Oz. Woman travels to strange land and kills woman for shoes.
I think State of the Nerd just needs to do a bunch of trivia between me and Matt of giving obscure television show references to see if we can get the titles. That'd be fun.
Or a production of movies stalled when they attempted to kill Buddy Ebsen.
Oh Lord, I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, Buddy Ebsen was supposed to be, Jed Clampett was supposed to be the original Tin Man, and when the powder that they put on their face was aluminum based, and he had an allergic reaction to it. And was in the hospital for a month, so they had to replace him.
That's right.
I'm surprised they didn't end up replacing. Oh Lord, what's his name? He was Indy's friend in Last Crusade, and he played Gimli.
John Rhys Davies.
Yeah, he was highly allergic to all his prosthetics too, like bad. I'm surprised he didn't switch in, but he committed to the role. He loved it.
Of Gimli.
Yeah,
I watched a thing on that on the making of the Lord of the Rings, and John Rhys Davies has the best agent in history. He had a clause put into his contract with the production of the Lord of the Rings that wherever they shot, they had to bring a Barcalounger recliner for him to rest in. So when they were doing that scene on the mines of Moria, when they were coming running out of the scenes, they had to helicopter in his Barcalounger so he could set between sets.
that's awesome.
Greatest agent ever.
That's how you do it. Cryptoville says, when I visited the cave, I saw a shaman ghost inside the cave. And when I told the tour guide about it, she was very freaked out and started acting weird. Interesting. I bet you
people in that cave see stuff a lot.
Well, and I wonder how many of these tour guides take the job not thinking that anything's really there. And then shit starts happening to them. And they're like, okay, I don't know how important this job really was.
Good night, Northwoods.
Night, Northwoods. Greg's having a little bit of a...
It's his turn.
Yep. He's having a coughing fit. The Janet says, "What's up with you there? What's up with you guys, everybody? How's everybody doing?" I'm doing all right.
Well, I've already drank about half a can of that, so I'm half a can in.
Half a horn?
Yeah, I thought about pouring it into my drinking horn, but then I'd have to hold it the whole time.
Yeah.
You see why the other day I had it in a mug, because on show that
if it's in my hand, I'm going to keep drinking it. I don't pace myself.
Nope. Shit, I might as well just put a straw in the bottle at that point.
Just get the big cardboard box of wine, take the bag out and shove a straw in it like a big Capri Sun.
I mean,
I used to refer to that as card Bordeaux.
I saw something on TikTok that says anything's a Capri Sun if you're strong enough.
And you have a sharp enough straw.
Yeah. Well, this dude just took a metal straw and jabbed it into the top of a beer. He just went straight through the top of the can.
I'd say you got it a little spritzed.
Yeah. You know, what's interesting about the Bell Witch, DA, is we could probably do an entire show just on the Bell Witch.
There's a lot there.
It is in depth. A lot of occurrences, a lot of history alone, and a lot of accounts. I mean, we could pull videos. We could do a lot of stuff with that.
Oh yeah. Well, I apologize to everybody for me jumping in and out. I was a lot more prepared for this show. I had notes pulled up and all kinds of stuff, and after the internet took a big dump, I pretty much lost everything, and it would probably take me another 30 minutes to get everything back.
I don't know. We've talked about quite a bit.
Well, we can do a couple of things. One, I have a brand new commercial that has not been aired. If you guys would like to see it, and we can give away a couple audio codes. So if you guys would like to see the commercial, Naoma did this, and it's going to be airing on some of the Dixie Cryptid podcasts, the longer episodes, and it'll also be placed on my YouTube channel and posted on social media. So here you go. So check it out. Let me know what you think.
From the mind of author D.A. Roberts. Cryptids. Lakeview Man. Apex Predator. Codename Wild Hunt. Zombies. The Ragnarok Rising Saga. Science fiction and fantasy. Lost Legion. Find them all at daroberts.net or amazon.com.
Nice.
Look at that.
Very cool.
I like that a lot. Very nice.
Naoma did a good job on that.
Yes,
Absolutely. Since we're going to be doing a giveaway out there in chat, make sure you are active, even if you just kind of plug something in. I got the timer running for 15-minute gaps, so stay active in chat.
Yeah, we'll be doing a giveaway for one of the Audible codes for Codename Wild Hunt. The first book, Apex, a Codename Wild Hunt, Odin's Call, narrated by Cameron Buckner.
Oh, by the way, I just got through that finally because that was the next book on my list. So it was very serendipitous that you dropped the audiobook, made it easier for me to get to. Damn, it was good.
Well, thank you, man. I'm glad you liked it.
I know being involved as I am, I should probably be a little further ahead on the books, but as much as I love to read, I have so much crap that I do when I'm not working. It's really hard to read. So when I drive, audiobooks are so much easier to do. And so I've been waiting on these. So
last I talked to Cam, he's already involved in doing the second one, Curse of the Wendigo, which is Doc's favorite because of one particular line. He said he's going to have that done in a couple of weeks.
Good.
Let's see. Got a couple comments on your commercial. Loved it. She did it. Let's see. That's a good one. The gooder one, said Mark. Let's see. Susan says loves Naoma's voice. A says hope y'all are having a good night. Let's see. Linnea says she has that sultry voice. Yep.
Let's
see. Susan says just started the series. Love them.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that a lot.
Lost Leg stories on audiobook.
The Lost Legions are in the process. Sal Passos is narrating the Lost Legion.
Oh, cool.
And he's already completed the approval section that he sent to me for the first book of Lost Legion, which is Perdition's Flames. So he is already well into production on that. So hopefully we'll have release information on that fairly soon.
Let's see. Whatever you do, don't take anything from the Bell Witch Cave. I've heard that. Bad things happen.
That's a pretty common story that seems to attach itself to a lot of places.
It's kind of like my whole comment with the whole land dispute. You just don't mess with witches, real or not. You should just take them at their word.
Part of the land. Don't take the land.
Yeah.
Witches are any place considered a sacred site.
Mhm.
Like
You know-
what's that?
Because you know
mountain in
what'll
Hawaii?
happen. You know what'll happen if you take a rock. She turned me into a newt. Well, I got better.
AJ says, just reading The Nightmare Hunter. It was awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Let's see. Do the Bell Witch DA. Yeah, we're I think we might end up doing a show on that.
I also sent out a bunch of forums today to try to get some interesting new guests on the show. Some of them are in the horror genre as writers, and a couple of the others are surprises that I don't want to point out yet. And I think we're going to have some. If we get the feedback on that I'm hoping for, we're going to get some really interesting guests in the next month or two.
Awesome, man.
That's something you ought to think about doing sometime, Doug. Doing more of the what they call like the author tube stuff.
Yeah.
Talking about writing as opposed to, well, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I've thought about doing a few of those. In fact, on my blog, I've done a lot of this is what worked for me kind of thing. There's a lot of that on my blog, but I thought about doing a series of videos on things that have worked for me, and my process, and again, every author's different. Every author has their own way of doing things and their own style. So if I were to do something like that, you could just take that for whatever would work to help you and take it at face value, because it's just what has worked for me. So I would have to do something very along those lines. Did I freeze up again?
No, I'm responding to someone off screen. Sorry. I multitask not very well.
And I really don't have anything to say. I mean, it'd be. I'm just saying it'd be something interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it'd be something fun to do. As for more audiobooks coming out, Naoma is working on Lakeview Man 2. And as soon as she has that completed, and as soon as I'm finished with the manuscript for Lakeview 3, I'll send that right over to her. So she's going to be doing the Lakeview Man series. Cam's doing Codename Wild Hunt and Apex Predator.
Oh, shit.
I'm probably going to have to find someone new to do Ragnarok Rising. So I'll be looking for that soon.
Oh, no.
Well,
Allie's not able to finish?
It's been a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to. I'm not trying to call anybody out, but
sure. I mean, they got to get done.
Yeah.
I mean,
every month they're not out. A month I'm not making any money off of them.
Yep.
And it was January of this year when they were initially set up. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. I've got Sal Passos that's doing the Lost Legions, and he'll probably do Man's Marauders as well, because it's going to be the sci-fi with the same characters, with similar characters, not all the same. There'll be some crossover of characters, and I haven't decided who'll do the fantasy series. Well, the way my voice sounds right now, I don't know that I should, but I think it'd be fun.
I think that you should for many reasons, but mostly because you have a lot of unique pronunciations, especially in the fantasy series, that only you are going to be able to pull off the way you want. And plus, we've done a little D&D, and I've gotten your dwarf, which works very well for Balkus. You know how you want him to sound.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think it's very fitting if you do it. I know you're busy and you got a lot of stuff going on, but I think it'll be more authentic, and I think it'll be worth it for the readers or listeners in this case, for you to do it.
I think it'd be fun to do do one of the audiobooks. Although I don't know the first thing about editing audio.
It's not super difficult. I can help you with that. I mean, what you'll need to do, it's not too hard. Just a lot of cutting your mistakes out and joining it back up with the good part.
Yeah, I'll have to look into doing that. But it'd be something I think would be a lot of fun to do.
I need to finish mine.
Yeah, I need to get Lakeview 3 done. And then I've got right on the heels of that, I need to get the the Balkus story done. I've got to get Man's Marauders done, and right behind that will be the next installment of Apex Predator, and then the next Codename Wild Hunt. Apex Predator Dark Moon and Codename Wild Hunt Death and Dyatlov Pass are coming as well.
Because for those of you who don't know, I just started writing. I brought it up a few times. I'm working on a horror book too. It has some cryptid overtones, but there's some other stuff going on. And then I talked with DA about following that up in kind of a series. I want to touch on the Wendigo as well, but I want to do it from a different perspective, more on the Wendigo psychosis of it. And
that's really cool. That's a cool perspective to take.
It'll end up having almost like, because if you look into some of the Wendigo psychosis, it's almost like, it reminds me of like I don't know if you call them vampires or whatever, but from the Will Smith movie, those weird creatures, I Am Legend, they were like fast and cannibalistic, and that kind of is the picture I get when I think of Wendigo psychosis. So I'll be focusing more on that angle of it.
That'd be cool.
Well, I know I touched on this briefly when we first started up, and then of course I had all the internet issues. But I wanted to show something else. Something I got today as a care package, and I'm going to let Doc talk about it. But I wanted to show mine so everybody can see it.
Yeah.
And Doc, do you want to give us the background on this? Because you can give all the wheres and why, what fors.
Hey, DA, throw that up again. Hold on, I gotta get it. There we go. Give everyone a nice, good look at it. Beautiful.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. This is the what we call our the special purpose emergency aid rig that we just brought out. A lot of people have been running low profile kits for a long time, and what we did, we just took them and made them better. It took me about 5 years to actually get this prototype to where I wanted. This was my number 3 prototype for this year. And what it is, it's belt mounted, or you can mount it on MOLLE channels as well to any kind of webbing. But it's basically designed because to protect this tourniquet here, because that's pretty important in hemorrhage control. So I built a tourniquet garage around it. I like to call it a tourniquet garage. And so you can click the buckle and it will pull from either side. So it's totally user friendly for ambidextrous. And you just click on the buckle and you pull it loose, and you'll hit that middle tab right there, and the whole kit opens up. So you got your tourniquet up here. It'll hold a cat or a soft T. And then I've got a 12-foot roll of hemostatic gauze, a 12-foot roll of standard gauze, a nasal airway, or a decompression needle in there. Behind here, I've got chest seals, pressure bandage, and Mylar blanket and gloves. So everything is in there for your basically your bleeders, your stop to bleed and start to breathe and treat for shock type of thing. So this is going to be, hopefully I got these little tabs made up. So if you order one using the Cryptid 25, Cryptid 25 code, just write in there Team Odin tab, and I'll throw that Team Odin tab in there for you as well. So hopefully these will be, you might see these in some upcoming writings. I don't know, but yeah,
I believe you will.
I think so.
Nice.
So yeah, it's called our special purpose emergency aid rig, or the spear kit. So you can be at the tip of the spear.
Very nice.
Replace the dark kits they were carrying before.
Exactly. This is the new hotness.
See, right. What's cool is you can even put in like a story link in there, that there's a reason why they're getting the Team Odin ones, or that'd be kind of cool.
Oh yeah, it's I like it. It came out pretty good, I think. So
yeah, they are pretty awesome.
Thanks, brother. And for guys who ride with kits and things, smaller your back. I wore this up at SIG for a month that I was up there, and never had any issues. Never had any issues at all with my low back. So that's it. That's it for my kit.
I was curious because I'm not caught up, and will be a little bit of spoilers if people aren't caught up. But DA, is Doc like an unofficial or official member of Odin yet?
No, not of Odin. He's considered one of the group with Apex Predator. He's a reserve member of the Hota Metaneo.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because if you haven't, well, okay, you haven't got that far, so I'm not going to give it away. You've just done the first book of Odin's Call. You'll find out more what happens in Wild Hunt 2.
Exciting.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
I don't
It's
want to
pretty
give
rad.
that away.
It was pretty rad.
I want to get caught up because I want to read the current one that you're writing. I want to get to the new Lake Man.
I think you'll like it.
Because I've gotten a taste of the new Lake Man, and I'm like, shit, I need to get caught up because this is all the drama that I want in a horror story.
Yeah.
I need to get that out to my alphas this week. I've got probably another 10,000 words over the last time I sent it out, so I need to get that out to them.
Awesome.
Yeah. Let's see. Mark wants one of those, Carrie, but have to get some Christmas paid off first. What's the name of that kit?
The Spear, SPEAR, Special Purpose Emergency Aid Rig. It's on our website.
I love your naming conventions, by the way. I was going through a lot of the
Thank you.
products that you have on your site. The naming is awesome.
Thank you. It takes a lot, man, to make those names up. I'm like, I want to make it cool, but I got to make it medical. So how can I do that?
It all fits very well. It like a lot of them are very explanatory on. Not only is it a cool name, it describes what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I like them.
It's very descriptive. I've got an ouch pouch, 2 darks, and then the new spear kit. But I'm gonna order one of those plastic cased vehicle kits for the new vehicle when we get it.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Those things are good. And we got the St. Mike bag. That was a fun one to try to name up. Severe Trauma Medical Intervention Kit Emergency. So that took a lot of bourbon to think of that one up, man, for sure. Get the creative juices flowing.
Yeah.
And I'm at the 2-hour mark. It's my wife's birthday. I appreciate the time y'all have let me have with you tonight, especially for the plug on here. But I'm going to spend some time with that good-looking blonde-headed woman and hang out.
Tell her I said happy birthday, and remember what I told you to give her from me for her birthday.
I did that the other night, and she's like, I can't wait to meet him. But y'all have a great night. I'm going to bounce, and it was awesome as always, and I hope to see y'all again very soon.
It was fun
Carrie,
hanging out with you,
I
Carrie.
enjoyed the 15 minutes I actually got to be here with you.
I know, brother. I'm sorry you had that.
It was broken out over an hour, but it was 15 minutes.
I enjoyed the chance I got to hang out with you. We haven't spent that much time together, so that was fun.
No, that was a good time, man. That was a good time. Thank you, Lenita. And Mark, blowout kit, IFAC. That's what we always call them, bleeder kits, things like that. But yeah, if y'all have any questions, y'all shoot me an email. But BA, Josh, Greg, I will see y'all on the flip side. Have a good one.
Later, brother.
See you later, Carrie.
All right. Later, brother. Night. Well,
on his exit, we want to run his commercial then?
Heck yeah.
I got it pulled up right here. I'll pop it up for you.
Fire it up.
Everybody, this is Kerry Pocket Doc Davis from Dark Angel Medical, and you are listening to DA Ex Machina with DA Roberts. You may recognize me or some of my products from Dark Angel Medical in some of the Apex Predator, Lakeview Man, and Wild Hunt books, and you can get those products at www.darkangelmedical.com, along with training classes on how to use those products and save a life. Shoot us an email at info@darkangelmedical.com and be the difference.
Love that commercial.
That was a good one.
I almost edited out that hesitation in the WW, and I'm so glad I left it in there.
And don't forget, for viewers of the show, if you go to darkangelmedical.com and purchase anything off the website, at your checkout, enter discount code cryptid25 for 25% off. And that's exclusive to this channel.
Heck yeah. Get them while they're hot. Perfect Christmas gift. And did he say it in the commercial? I've heard it so many times that it just becomes noise at this point. But if you use them to save a life, they're guaranteed replacement parts for what you used.
It's called the Kit for Life Guarantee.
Awesome.
You use it to save a life. You contact them and you send back what you didn't use. They'll evaluate it to make sure it's still usable and restock the kit, ship it back to you for free.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, Carrie's a good dude.
Yeah.
I trusted my life to his kids.
Yeah, you carried them on shift, didn't you?
Oh God, yeah. I carried a full size dark kit on my duty belt, and I had the other dark kit on my emergency vest that you'd throw on my plate carrier. So worst case scenario, I'd wind up with two. And when I go anywhere, I've got the little ouch pouch with me with a tourniquet, and I had a full vehicle kit in my van before the.
Yeah, I'd like to get a vehicle kit for my car and my wife's car.
They make a vehicle kit that mounts to your headrest.
Yeah.
So you mount it to the passenger side headrest. You just reach over and grab it. And pull
I
it
think
out.
he calls it visor or something like that. It's something very apropos to where you place it. In the headrest one too is aptly named as well. Like I said, I wasn't blowing smoke when I said those names are legit. He did a good job on those.
Well, the ouch pouch is a great one if all you're worried about is basic first aid. It's a good one to keep on your belt. And he's dead right. I mean, if medical kits are expensive, but not when it comes to saving your own life.
No,
I mean, would you rather watch somebody bleed out or spend $100 for a med kit? I mean, a tourniquet in the right, and don't rely on what you see on TV. Belts don't always work.
Yeah. Sometimes, and don't take this to not wear, but sometimes they can actually be worse than helping, but it's still always better to have it on than not have it on.
Right. It's better than nothing, but you really want a tourniquet.
So we, since we kind of exhausted through a lot of the stuff that we knew we were going to talk about, do we just want to see if anyone has any questions or stories to share in the chat? Oh, DA. Oh, DA, we lost him again. Damn it. So
I've been watching the chat. The chat's kind of starting to empty out a little bit.
Yeah, we've dropped a few people. There's still quite a few people in here because I want to do the giveaway here shortly. And I think that's what we were getting to. So DA should be back shortly. He should be bouncing back. So everyone, if you want to take part in the giveaway, we're going to be giving away an audio code to codename Wild Hunt. Odin's Call. It is done by Cameron Buckner of Dixie Cryptid. So you guys go ahead, just hammer out on the keyboard real quick. Throw some stuff. Like I said, it's on a 15-minute timer. So I'm sure DA will be back in the next 15 minutes and we'll go ahead and do that giveaway. So go ahead and post some comments, tell us some stories, questions. I have experience with the paranormal. Greg has some experience with it. So we watch also a lot of shows about paranormal, so we're not experts by any mean. I don't think either one of us are going to claim that, but we could share some of our knowledge with you as best we can. So go ahead and post up in chat, and that way it gets you in the algorithm for the giveaway as well. I'm going to spin that between now and the next 15 minutes. Mark, I don't play with ghosts. Yeah, I see. I feel the same way. So Hooter says, I got the journal, so don't give me anything else. Hey, this that's fine. Unless you really want out, we don't mind multiple giveaways. It's the algorithm. We don't choose it. It's randomly spun. And we're not doing the journal today, just the audio code. So it's not like you're getting the same thing. So, but if you want me to take you out, just confirm and I'll mark you not eligible. So any good stories about fairies? I think Ace
Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
Go ahead and mark me out too.
I don't think I have you because you haven't been chatting recently. So
okay.
Yeah, because it's only the last 15 minutes of chat, so I don't have you in there.
I just figured it wouldn't be fair anyways. I mean, I'm not exactly the right audience for that kind of thing.
No worries.
I mean, it's just not a genre I'm super interested in.
Fair enough.
And I'd rather leave it for somebody who would actually, appreciate it.
Sure, that's fair. That's fair.
Appreciate it more. I guess the way I was putting it.
There you are. What I'm having everybody do, because I figured you'd want to do it here shortly, is the giveaway. So I'm having everyone hammer out.
That sounds good. Just whenever you're ready, we'll do the giveaway. Hopefully before I disappear again.
Probably ought to go ahead and do it then.
Yeah.
just giving everyone a chance to.
Although we have had several people pop up suddenly.
Yes, that's why I always prompt. I always prompt people like that, Greg, because sometimes they get so comfortable into listening, they don't always chat. So I always prompt them to just. I tell them monkey roll on the keyboard as long as it throws them into the chat room. It's good. So let's see. We got a lot of people saying I don't play with ghosts. Ace, I was going to answer your question. Any good stories about fairies? We've been talking about. We've been toying with the idea of a fairy episode, haven't we? A little bit.
Yes, we
Doing
have.
a fae.
Yeah, that's something we'll need to look into do in the very near future.
DA, I'm going to change your name real quick.
I don't even see it. It's not coming up on my screen.
There can't be two of us. I'm hard enough for people to handle as it is. Let's see. You might as well take something home. You can't wash it off. And he's referring to not messing with ghosts. I feel that there's ways to avoid that. Obviously, there's always the chance that you can bring something home, but I dabble and I make sure to protect myself. But the surefire way, just like not having a baby, the surefire way is not to do it. Surefire way to not bring something home is to don't even mess with it. Susan says that's what I tell my son. Probably both. Don't mess with ghosts and maybe not to do it. AJ says I can't wait to read more of your books.
Thank you.
A says I sit away from my laptop. Okay. Here's a story from my childhood. When I was younger, I slept upstairs with my sisters. There ended up being a fire, and I was woken up by a spirit, and it ended up saving our lives. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
She also says, after many years, when talking to my grandmother, she brought me a photo of her mother, and it was the same person who woke me up in the middle of the night. Wow. That is cool.
That is awesome.
It's awesome to have a personal story like that, but actually to connect it to something physical to validate your experience is even better.
Heck yeah.
Because like we were talking about earlier, D, I don't know if you were in or out. Carrie and I were talking about how easy it is to Greg, you might have been in it at the time too. We're talking about, to dismiss paranormal events because you're trying to rationalize things and trying to figure out, did that really happen, did it not? But when you can hold something in your hand and be like, that's what I saw. And Carrie said he had a story like that. And just crazy stuff.
I can't make any such claim about my own experiences, but I know what I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. All right. I think we're going to go ahead and run the giveaway. I've got 10 people in. We got 43 people watching. So I'll give y'all about another 30 seconds and we're going to go ahead and just spin it. We're giving away a audiobook code for Codename Wild Hunt, Odin's Call, read by Cameron Buckner of Dixie Cryptid. It's I super enjoyed it. I got through it basically in one night because I was working, so it was perfect to listen to it, and I loved it. And that's another thing I love about your books. They are just long enough to be long, but also short enough that I can do it in a night or a weekend. You know what I mean? So I can get on to the next one. They're not like, as much as I love like Tolkien and stuff like that, I'm not committing to, 50,000 words. All right. We got a couple more people jumping in. A says, yeah, I'm on. Oh, that was you. Loving Cam's readings and short stories. Yep, absolutely. Joe says, I want to hear about Faye. Blues Crew says, loving the show. I don't mess around with supernatural or paranormal. Definitely want to check out one of your books.
Awesome,
do it.
Thank you.
They're so good. They're so good. Also, another way to support the channel, in addition to buying his books, which you definitely should do, you can also send a super chat right here on YouTube. Just click the little $ sign either below the chat box or in the mobile chat bar. can throw a little donation towards the channel. It also gets put back into making the channel better, or giving DA tools to do investigations or make better graphics, etc. Good way to support. And we highlight your chat, gets seen by everybody. It's awesome. DA stands for Dogman Attack, Sneaky Internet Power Drain.
Pretty much.
Right, Chef. That's what I'm saying. Like when I got Apex Predator, I read it in a couple hours one night, because I work even on my days off. I'm up at night. I burned through it in the whole night, and they are hard to put down. I remember when I first started reading Ragnarok Rising, I was just turning pages like crazy.
I was really happy you liked the Ragnarok books.
They are freaking awesome. Hey, look at that. Patty's giving you an example of a super chat. She donated $5 to the channel.
Thank you,
and
Patty.
She said
You
this
are awesome.
is a super chat. Awesome way to support. Now we will have subscriptions to join the YouTube channel as well coming up shortly. You'll have like a special title and emojis only available to you. It'll be very inexpensive, but a great way to support.
Ace Banner 007 says, would you consider elves as fae? In the Celtic tradition, yes. In the Norse tradition, no. So it depends on your point of view on it, which perspective you take on it.
Right.
But when we do a show on the fae, it'll be from the Celtic tradition.
I know this might not be the right time, but could you elaborate a little on that, Doug? I did not know that.
Holy Hannah. Oh my God, Chef.
Holy crap. Thank you so much.
That is crazy. $100 super chat. Merry Christmas. Now bring us more good books. She's telling you to get back to work.
Tell me to get my butt to work. I will definitely do that. Thank you so much. You are awesome.
We'll expand on Greg's question in a second. Let me just roll before. Okay, I marked Hooter out and it still brought him up, so I'm going to roll it again. Richie Evans is the winner of the audiobook.
Awesome.
Yeah, Hooter, I have you not marked as eligible, and yet it rolled you anyway. So
well,
he said,
"Thank you for saying you've already won enough." So I appreciate that, sir.
Wow, Chef, that's awesome.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much.
Now, folks, Chef has set the bar. Oh, so Greg, your question was for DA to elaborate on the differences, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why the Norse didn't consider elves fae.
The Norse really don't have a fae perspective. They have land spirits, they have earth spirits, but they're not really traditional fae. They're more like trolls and like I said, land spirits. But the Norse perspective on the elves are very different than the Celtic perspective. So it's a little tough to explain without going into a really lengthy explanation. But from the Norse perspective, the fae are more tied to Yggdrasil, the world tree, and in the Celtic perspective, the fae are nature spirits.
So, exposing my complete ignorance, the Dark Elves are more of a Marvel Comics thing than a Norse thing.
Not necessarily. They're called the Svartalfheim.
They're more like dwarves.
Yeah, they're actually more like dwarves in a lot of respect. But they're kind of the antithesis of the Vanir, where the Vanir are like the embodiment of good earth spirits, good earth gods. The Svartalfheim are more negative, dark earth spirits.
Born in the void.
Right, born in the void.
I would say a good way to really break it down simple, and this is almost too simple, but picture the dark elves or the dwarves as aliens, whereas the Fey elves are from another dimension. That's kind of a loose way to put it, because the dark elves are from another planet, another realm, one of the 9 realms. And whereas the Fae is a completely separate, adjacent, parallel dimension. Yeah. So, and while the dark elves might, yeah, like the 9 realms may be also a different dimension as well, but it's easier to explain it almost in the Marvel sense where it's another planet. So
Okay, now the only problem with that is now I'm thinking Stargate.
Kinda. Yes and no. In the broadest perspective, yes. You would look at the worlds that connect to Yggdrasil very much like the Stargate. You could look at Yggdrasil very much like the Stargate system, the system that connects all the worlds. However, the Fae, it's totally different. The Fae come from another dimension. Sorry.
All right. I also posted in chat, Richie, when you get a chance, reach out to DA and he'll shoot you that audio code.
Yeah. Reach out to me at daroberts@daroberts.net or send me a message on Facebook. I'll get that to you sometime tonight. I haven't opened up any other windows because I don't want to crash this one.
DA, you're most welcome. I know how expensive it can be doing research. Whew.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I know one thing we've talked about is getting you, one, a better phone, but two, a FLIR camera attachment. We've talked about a bunch of different stuff. You got a huge upgrade when you got that Bluetooth microphone. That was cool.
Bluetooth microphone is awesome. And it wasn't even that expensive. It's a little rechargeable Bluetooth microphone I bought on Amazon for, I want to say it's like $70.
Mm-hmm.
And it attaches to my Bluetooth on my phone, and I just clip it to my lapel, and I can step back away from the tripod and film wherever I need to film. And the audio quality is really good.
Go ahead, Greg.
Some of these phones are getting so good they're shooting movies on them now.
Mm-hmm. Well, all my location videos, if you go to my YouTube channel, all my location videos, like where I've shot down by the lake and down at Joe Bald, all of that was done on cell phone.
I know I got a 21 Ultra, and this camera is insane. I would never, because of this, I'll never spend the money like on a Nikon or something like that. One, I don't really need to take professional photos, but whatever level of professional quote photo I need to take, this will more than I need. And that's why I have a hard time with a lot of photos and videos of evidence. I actually left a Facebook group recently because of all the fake photos they kept posting. It's just,
well, I got this. It's attaches to your phone. You can see how the phone connects to it.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a telephoto lens. It doesn't have low light, but it attaches to your phone, allows you to use it like a big zoom lens.
Mm-hmm.
And right about the time I figured out how to use it was when we had the accident, and I haven't had a chance to go back out. I mean, we're still dealing with rental companies, renting a car just to get around, and it's a long story. Let's just suffice it to say it's been a bad month.
Yeah, we've all kind of, I mean, you've had it worse than a lot of us, but I think we've all had a little bit of something.
Holy moly.
Oh,
Mrs. Chef Yoda, you are awesome.
Okay, so those of you still on the show listening, Chef Yoda has thrown down the gauntlet. She will match any and all donations made from here forward tonight, or the next 10 minutes, up to $100.
That's
so
awesome.
Hit that super chat button and she's going to match it.
Ma'am, thank you. You are awesome.
Like I said, if you're on YouTube, and if you're not on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, go to youtube.com/DARobertsAuthor. If you're on the computer, you have your chat panel off to the right. Just below it, you'll have where you type, but just below that, there's a button for super chat. Yes, that's $100 total, not each donation. It is all donations equaling up to $100. Or if you're on mobile, it's right at the end of the chat bar. There's a little gray $sign. You can click on that. You put in your donation amount, put in a message, and we'll get that highlighted. And Chef Yoda is going to match it up until we've reached $100 mark.
That's awesome.
That is so cool, Chef Yoda. That is freaking awesome. Oh, we got 5 right there from Hooter Transport.
Ooh. Thank you, Hooter.
Match a chat, you must. I'll start keeping a tally here for Chef Yoda. Let's see. We got 5 so far.
That's awesome.
All right, so we need to do some investigations. She says, let's help DA get some gear. Yeah, that's like I said, everything, the Patreon, the donations, the upcoming subscriptions are all going to go back into the channel and helping DA grow.
It goes back into the channel and into getting like software and equipment that I need to write.
There's another 20.
Whoa.
Dalton, all right, we're up to 25. It says high roller.
Thank you, Josh.
Nice,
sir. That the equipment is awesome, but part of it goes into like writing gear, writing recently, last month the output from the YouTube channel went to get me my pro writing aid subscription so I can do the grammar edits and everything.
Oh God, I love that program.
So
yeah,
great.
They had a Black Friday special for $200. You got a lifetime subscription with all the updates. And
I did that about a year ago. I
just went ahead and did it.
Yeah, I was using it, Greg, and because we were using Grammarly, and so I tried out Pro Writing Aid, and I messaged GA like in a day of using it. I'm like, you need to get on this now. It is a game changer. It makes Grammarly look like spell check from Word.
Yeah.
The weird thing. So go ahead, Doug.
As I write, I always keep Grammarly running. I always kept Grammarly running active.
Mm-hmm.
And I had my document for the new Lakeview Man up to date. I mean, it found no editing mistakes. So I uninstalled Grammarly and then downloaded the new Pro Writing Aid, and it immediately found over 900 errors. And I was like, holy crap. And some of them were like passive voice, and some of them were like wrong word choice, but it caught stuff that Grammarly completely missed.
Yeah.
So I spent a day just fixing all those errors, and it's a much tighter document.
Got another 25. We're up to 55.
Susan, you're awesome. Thank you so much.
Or I'm sorry, 25, 55. That's 6.
25 and 25.
Yeah,
so
we're up to 50.
And now 60.
And now 60. Wow.
And 5 from Hooter.
And yeah, I got the 5 in there.
Oh,
we got the 20, the 5. Another 20. We're up to 80. 20
Holy
more.
crap.
We got 4 minutes to hit another 24. Or another 4 minutes to hit $20. Man, I'm tired. I have it right on the notepad. It's proper over here.
Now we're sounding like one of those Labor Day telethon, the old Jerry Lewis broadcast.
Yeah, only got 5 more minutes to get your donations in, folks.
Or like those online bidding shows where you had to bid for like a $4 knife and the bidding's up to $35. Like, yeah, I think I'm out of the bidding now.
I missed one.
Or the PBS annual subscription drive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Blue Cruise, appreciate that. That's awesome.
Very much so, thank you.
Patty, you're awesome, man. You were definitely a support leg to this team.
Very much so.
Need to get her on at some point.
Yes, we do.
Because we're supposed to be starting a show soon. I hope she's getting that going.
Anyways, you were saying about Grammarly versus PWA.
Oh, man. It's just worlds apart. I know mine was the same way. When I installed it, I hit run, and I was like, holy crap. Because Grammarly is like, you're good, bro. You're fine. Just keep going.
Yeah, you. And then I installed Pro Writing Aid, and it's like, now you got a lot of stuff here.
So,
and I keep it running while I write.
Yeah,
so it's actually making me keep my writing tight while I write. So by the time I'm done with the manuscript, I'm not sure I'm going to get a lot of red on it.
Now, there are some, like you said, that catches where it's passive voice and where no matter how I rewrite this, I cannot get it to satisfy this passive voice. And a lot of the times it's in dialogue where it's intended to be passive or it wants you to.
If it's in dialogue, I just ignore it because dialogue is how it was meant to be said.
Unless I like the suggestion. Because sometimes it has given me suggestions where I'm like, okay, well, that could punch up the dialogue a little bit.
And a couple of times it's made some suggestions, and I'm like,
what
the hell is this trying to say?
Yeah, like it'll want you to remove like a very important word like to and change it to something random. It's like that doesn't even read anymore. What is that?
So you got to be careful. You can't just click accept and move on. You've got to we got to watch them. But it's really good at finding comma usage. It's really good at finding repetitive sentences, and it's really made me buckle down and really concentrate on not just what I'm trying to say, but how I say it.
One thing that has caught in me, because I'm writing a bit of a period piece where it's set like in the 70s. So I was trying to use a little bit of 70s slang and stuff like this. I did some research where I was using man a lot. Like, hey, man, don't do that, man. And I found out, because it'll catch you if you use a repeated word too close together to the last one within so many like sentences or paragraphs. Whoa, man, that cleaned up a lot of my writing.
Yeah,
I realized
for any of you out there who are aspiring writers, definitely get a program like Pro Writing Aid or Grammarly. But I recommend Pro Writing Aid because it does do a much better job, and it helps you tighten up your writing. It helps you improve your sentence structure, your syntax, your grammar.
Yep.
And it does a better job than Grammarly. I mean, I'll just be honest. Grammarly is not a bad program, though. I'm not going to knock it. It does what it does. And I think the free version of Grammarly is designed to be limited. So you'll buy the upgrade.
But Pro Writing Aid is
Grammarly was going to cost me way more.
Yeah, Pro Writing Aid is so much cheaper for the Pro.
Yeah, when Pro Writing Aid had that Black Friday deal, I was like, can't really pass that up.
That's why I got it. That's why I got it. Right now I'm running both in parallel because from my perspective, they have a tendency to fight. One will tell you you've made a mistake, and the other one, you fix it, and the other one will say the fix that you just made is a mistake.
Well, I don't run them both. I mean, I don't want them to argue over it. Not only that, is running both eats up a lot of system resources.
That was another thing I didn't like about Grammarly. Even using the online version, when I was writing in the cloud, my computer would just dump. I don't have that problem with Pro Writing Aid. It runs so much smoother. Well,
Pro Writing Aid, every time I open it, because my documents are, the full book is going to be 80,000 words. And every time I open it, it's like, this is a big document. Are you sure you want to do it? I'm like, yes, just do it.
Do it. And you got to wait a little bit longer for it to scan the whole document.
It does slow it down a little bit. But again, once you go through and correct your document and catch all of its little suggestions up, then you
30 more. Well, 10
all right.
and then 20.
Well, we broke the $100. So we did it.
Thank you, folks. You guys are awesome.
Hey, it's all for you, man. You have created a community. I just want to put this out there to everybody that's out there. The people that are in chat, the people that are in the Discord, Greg, Pocket Doc, we're all here. Yes, you're a great writer and you're fun to hang out with. You are genuinely a really good dude, man. We are here to hang out with you. Yeah, we benefit from reading your books. We benefit from, all that stuff, but you're just a great guy to just hang out with and chat with and talk about all this stuff with. Like, that's why they're all here. That's why they're donating. When I say it's for you, it's not because you're, there's this amazing person. Well, you are, but it's because you're a genuinely good guy. That's why I'm on here. That's why Greg's on there. We enjoy hanging out with you. I mean, I hate to speak for you, but I assume that's correct, Greg, for you.
Yeah. See, I've known, good Lord, has it been 30 years, DA?
Yeah, pretty much.
And note, I got it right this time.
I think we met in late 91.
That sounds about right.
Or sometime around September, October 91.
Yeah, the old Star Trek fan club on SMS.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are something else. I mean,
I am stunned.
Mark says, yeah, what Josh says. It's true, though. Like, we could go hang out with any author. You know what I mean? Like, we could go hang out with anyone online and sit in their chats. But the ones that usually have the higher followings or people that are this interactive or just because they can see themselves sitting around a table with you and just BSing about whatever the topic is. And I know that's how you like to run the show. You like to
Very
do it
much
more
so.
of a hangout instead of a rigid show format, which we kind of sort of have sometimes, but that
Well,
doesn't
occasionally.
last very long. That lasts about as long as a card house and a strong wind. It's a concept more than anything.
Yeah, well, we do get the subject out there, but we just have a good time doing it. And Greg can tell you, sitting at the table at my house, conversations went the same way. We'd start out talking about one thing, wind up talking about 25 others before we got back to the topic.
That on those nights when we weren't running those marathon 36-hour D&D sessions.
Yeah, those were awesome though. Patty, thank you. You are awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I can't always mod the chat. You guys see me in there sometimes, even when I'm not in here. But Patty's always in there.
Patty's awesome.
She's keeping you guys in line. You want to get on Patty's bad side. She'll get you.
Man, I'm stunned. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. I don't even know what to say.
Don't say anything. Just keep having the shows and keep writing the books, man.
That's the plan.
Speaking of which, it's probably time for me to call it a night. I'd like to try and get some writing done myself.
Hey, go hit that keyboard,
Holy
man.
shit. You just got another
You got another
$5.
one.
Holy crap.
Tony.
Thank you, Tony.
Tony is sliding in with the $5.
Tony, you're awesome, brother. Thank you, man.
Anyways,
Tony, you haven't been in a while. I haven't seen you in a while.
Hey, good night, Greg. It's good having you on, man. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you, Greg. Thanks for being here, man. Later, brother.
See, Paces,
How the
thank
heck
you,
do I
everyone.
shut this window?
Just close the browser.
Just close the browser. Yep.
That's the easiest way to do it. Just close it.
All right. Night, guys.
Good night. Chef Yoda says, DA speechless.
A little bit.
Let's see.
Twitter Transformer says, you guys are using Grammarly. I'm using sticky notes and putting them in my journal.
Hey, you know what? That's one way to go.
Hey,
but I'm telling
works.
you, Hooter, even the free version of Pro Writing Aid, it's better than not having anything at all because it'll catch a lot of just silly stuff that you don't even know.
I didn't use the free version of Pro Writing Aid. Is it downloadable or do you have to do it online?
It is downloadable. I did the free trial, which gave me like a week or two of the full version, which I'm now irritated because now I feel like I need to go buy the full version because
I think the Black Friday deal's still up.
It's still kind of expensive for me with kids and
I hear you.
And you have a nice support following of donations. I don't have that. What'd she say? Josh, don't burn me yet. I'm not. No, man, you're here to make sure everyone's having a good time. You're the fun, friendly bouncer that everyone wants around until they do something wrong, and then you take care of it.
Well, I don't know if anybody noticed that my goatee is much shorter. I was sitting in the living room a couple of days ago, and I was starting to pull it out like I was going to put a rubber band on it and braid it. And my wife's like, "Yeah, you need to trim that." I'm like, "But I like it." She's like, "Nope, it needs to go. You need to keep it. You need to keep it trimmed and look professional." I'm like, "But I wanted to like put beads and stuff in it." She's like, "No, you need to look professional for the books." I'm like,
see, I want to do the same thing. I
right.
wanted to order some nice beard beads from Grimfrost, and
yeah, that was what I was thinking. And I was in there trimming it, and mentally I'm going.
Hi, Annette. She dropped in to say hello.
Hi, babe.
Yeah, I trimmed mine
my
as
arm,
well.
folks. Made me trim the beard. Made me tame the wild goatee.
I'm getting ready to take engagement photos, and so I figured, might as well not let her look like she's marrying a hobo.
But you are a hobo.
Kind
a murder
of.
hobo.
You see, you can be a murder hobo when you're the DM.
True. That's very true. That was like the motto of my old D&D group was kill them all and loot the corpses.
I'm still debating if we're gonna record or stream our game. I kind of want to and kind of don't. I don't know.
My son wants to do Bigfoot again if I can get everything set up.
Yeah, I would love to do Bigfoot again as well. I'd also love to play some other games with you guys, like Friday the 13th, and maybe just some other silly games.
You know what I want to do?
Huh.
I want to do Left 4 Dead.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
That would be a blast to play.
Tony says, I moved from Philadelphia to Green Bay 2 months ago. Not going to say I'm not jealous at all, because, huge Green Bay fan here, but we're going to move past that and started a new job working 26 days a month in 5 states. Whoa.
That's
As a private investigator.
Dude, you be careful.
Ooh, it's been catching you
dangerous.
Ooh, for a while I thought about being a PI or a skip tracer. And then I was like, nah, I don't need that in my life.
Yeah.
Hooter, another truck driver friend, says, I drive trucks, so sticky notes written on a steering wheel, not very legible sometimes.
That's funny.
You know what? I am able to run Word on my $100 Google, what the hell they call those things? The Google laptops that all the kids use. We used to call them netbooks when they first came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, it's the Google
laptop,
Chromebook. I can run the Microsoft with Pro Writing Aid on there because it's what's cool is you can add it as in what they call an add-on. You still download it, but it adds as an add-on, and it works just fine on really light laptops. So,
Richie, I'm pretty sure if I'd have walked in the living room with Christmas lights in my beard, my wife would have murdered me.
Did you get that message from Richie yet? Because I haven't seen him comment until just now.
I haven't logged into my email or anything because as touchy as my internet's been, I've been really, really, really careful about opening other windows. So I've just got the one running. Well, Richie, I will check it once the show's off.
In case you kind of bounced in or out, I know people kind of got things to do. You did win the giveaway for the audio code. So if you didn't hear earlier, go ahead and message DA on his email or through Facebook.
Yeah, Richie's got me on Facebook. Patty says, I don't mean to switch gears, but where's Steve? Steve took the night off. His daughter was coming into town with his brand new grandson. So his grandbaby. So he wanted to spend time with his grandbaby.
What am I, chopped liver, Patty? What the hell? I mean, I can...
I can see that.
I mean, if you're gonna do the ornaments and the beard and the lights, you gotta flock it too with the fake snow
and you'd have to get the pine scented beard oil.
Go all out.
Yeah, go all out. Be festive.
Congratulations to him. It's you, goofball. You're the Richie we're talking about. You're the Richie we're looking for.
Yeah.
Chromebook. I eventually got there, Patty.
Yeah, we eventually get there.
We're getting old, we're getting tired, and we drink too much. So brains don't always do the brain thing.
The little engine that said, that's good enough.
Oh, Lords. Steve went to bed early to have an energy for his grand new baby. Smart man. Yeah. You're not wrong. Oh. Yep.
Holy.
So what I was going to ask earlier, instead we derailed to do, well, we didn't derail. We switched gears and did the giveaway. Since we didn't, we don't have the show notes anymore. I was going to ask people to give us their stories, ask questions, since I have familiarity with paranormal. If they want to know a little bit about maybe a active haunting versus a residual haunting, or we're finding out now that poltergeists may not actually be a supernatural entity.
Really?
It's a supernatural occurrence, but we're thinking now, when I say we as the royal we, and I'm lumping myself in with people much smarter than myself, paranormal investigators, I should say, are now thinking that poltergeist activity is actually a manifestation from a living person.
Like psychokinesis or something like that?
Kind of, yeah, that they are causing the events to happen. It's not a separate entity that through trauma or increased psychic activity or something along those lines. They're not quite sure yet, but they're finding more and more that it typically has more to do with a person than an entity. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. Oh, I'm sure we'll bring up another story or two here, or if you've got a story, hit us up. That's what chat's for. Like I said, I'm not an expert in the paranormal at all, but I have some experience. And like I said, I watch a lot of stuff and absorb a lot of information. I read a lot about it. So I can present my knowledge to you.
Yeah. I make no claims about being an expert on any subject. Nope. I can give you the benefit of my research and my personal experiences and what might or might not have worked.
We miss Steve too, Patty, and I got to rib you a little bit. I was just giving you a hard time. Went to sleep. When I got up, kitchen furniture was in the living room. Things in the fridge were in the laundry room. That's between you and I would, my next question as a paranormal investigator would be like, do you have a history of sleepwalking? The reason I ask that is because a lot of times when people sleepwalk, they put things in really weird places. I know of someone that was a friend of mine who used to put his mom's purse in the oven when he sleepwalked. Don't know why. He doesn't even know he was sleepwalking, but they caught it on camera. So interesting. Poltergeists are often linked to teens. Yes, that is true. They're finding that a lot of teens are manifesting some weird energies and doing some really weird stuff. Now I'm singing Jingle Beard.
Jingle Beard, that's funny.
Lenita says, come to find out I lost much sleep that I did it. Yeah. That's see, as I was asking the question, you came through and said you did it. Yeah, very much so. Let's see. Patty says, all of a sudden you are we. I am always we, Patty. I am the royal we. When people say we, they're just referring to me.
That's funny.
So any other big ones that you want to talk about? Paranormal stuff. We kind of touched on the Warrens a little bit. You weren't really here for that. What is your opinion on the Warrens?
You know, I don't know a whole lot about them. Just what I've seen on different documentaries and some of the movies, obviously.
Sure.
But I don't know. Just based on the movies, I don't know. I don't want to call anybody out and say anything negative. I'm not really that guy, but because I could be 100% wrong.
Sure.
I don't know. Just at some point my BS meter went off.
We have a collected opinion. It was Greg and Carrie. We kind of all said the same thing, that we feel like there was a lot of real stuff going on, and then they tried to capitalize on top of that and sensationalize some of it. That's kind of was our general consensus, that they may have started out as true demonologists, but they got involved in so much and the notoriety and everything happening, and they're like, well, we can kind of make a business out of this.
Do you remember that old show, the Haunted Collector?
No.
The guy would go around investigating these haunted items at people's houses. These people
sounds very much like the Warrens.
Yeah, well, they would call and say, we've got a haunting, we don't know what's causing it. And sure. the guy would come in and he'd look around for a little bit and he'd go, oh, that antique grandfather's clock is probably worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's obviously haunted. I need to take that off your hands. And people Lord. They gave him expensive crap all the time so he could take it for safety. I was like, this is crap. This guy's just picking out valuable items and antiques and going, yeah, that's definitely haunted.
What did he say here? Mark says, you are the we that dogmen love.
That's funny.
Let's see. That's Steve. He's the we that dogmen love. Ace says, what's your take on Jen? Oh, and again, I don't know if we kind of discussed it. They want a show on Faye, and I think Ace brought that up as well.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yep. So what's your take on Jen?
I think Jinn, or just every culture throughout history, have had beings that were very much either directly called demons or in some cases daemons. or were very demonic in nature. And I think that jinn are just another version of a demon. That's just, again,
Some
my
sort
opinion.
of malevolent
Right.
spiritual entity. Okay. Because I could be wrong. I'm not well versed in the Quran, but I feel like jinn show up in the Quran.
They do.
And almost like is angels show up in, and demons for that matter, show up in the Bible. And again, that may just be a cultural understanding of a similar entity of just being a malevolent spiritual entity. I don't think that they cast wishes and stuff like that. What I think what's happening here is you have, say, for a demon, for example, they're doing the typical demon exchange. I'll give you this, but guess what? Your ass is mine. You know what I mean? I don't think it's a wish. I think they're granting favors is what's really going on.
AJ Congdon says, what are your thoughts on the construction of the Winchester house? I was going to bring that one up anyway before we wrapped up for the night. But I'm glad you brought that one up. I think that is a great example of hauntings showing up after the fact because of people that died during the construction. But she felt guilty about how the Winchester fortune was made, and a psychic medium convinced her that the only way she would be safe from these spirits is if she constantly built on this house. And I would say there's a lot of money exchanged hands for the psychic medium's advice. And she spent the rest of her life building unnecessarily on a house that probably only became haunted because of what she did.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was just a dupe.
Yeah.
I feel bad for it. And that's why I'm very skeptical about psychic mediums, because generally the people that really truly possess an ability aren't going to be the ones that come to you and go, oh, and for $5,000 I'll tell you what your grandmother has to say.
Agreed. And I'm
just very skeptical when somebody comes forward and says, you know, hey, I'm a psychic medium and I'm going to do this, because I know for a fact there are people that are very sensitive to the spirit world and the presence of the paranormal. My wife, for example, is one. She is very perceptive. My youngest son as well. He inherited that from her. I'm a psychic brick. It's got to hit me in the face before I notice it.
We can interchange psychic to a few things.
Yeah. Use your favorite adjective. But the people that like pop up on TV, like generally the ones that are claiming they're psychic and can do cold reads of people and read body language. They're shysters. If you ever saw the movie, the series, The Mentalist, it was that kind of thing. People with a real gift are usually tortured by it.
Mm-hmm. Very good case in point. I'm not going to say her name, but a relative of my fiance has that exact thing. Matter of fact, before Thanksgiving, she got a hold of my fiance. She's like, look, I wasn't even going to bring this up. And this is one reason why I believe her. And yes, Ace, that's exactly what I was referring to, along those lines anyway. So she said, hey,
that's funny.
She says, hey, I don't even want to bring this up, but she won't leave me alone. And that's that torture thing. My grandma came to her before Thanksgiving and reached out to her. And at first she's like, can you just ask Josh a couple questions? Because whoever this is won't leave me alone and keep saying, congratulations, Josh. Because, we'd recently got engaged. And at first I was like, okay, whatever. Then she started giving me details about my grandmother that she just wouldn't know. She's never seen a photo of her, doesn't know her personality. And she started describing her personality to a T and her looks. And she's like, she won't leave me alone until I let you know that, one, she's very proud of you that you're getting married. And two, she's going to be at Thanksgiving. You hear this? And I said, yes. She's like, okay, she'll leave me alone now. And she doesn't want any notoriety from it. Matter of fact, she's like, half the time she doesn't even bring it up because she doesn't want to talk about this stuff. But sometimes she's like, this person will not shut up. I have to tell you so they will leave me alone. And so those are the kind of people I believe, the ones that aren't seeking to capitalize on it.
Right. Those are yeah, you can ask my wife. Anytime we watch a show and they bring out somebody, yeah, you just know that they're just there because of the notoriety.
Yep. Agreed.
And a couple of them were obvious. They would say something, and you could see them studying the person they were talking to watch their reaction. They're like, perhaps a sister, and they don't move, or a grandmother, and you see their body language change a little bit. Oh, it was your grandmother. Come on.
Yeah.
You're cold reading.
Yep. No good. Oh, that was weird.
What was weird?
Okay. So this is what we're talking about earlier. In this house, well, we weren't talking about this part earlier, but one of the things I'll say we talked about earlier, I'm pretty sure that there's something going on in this house. I think I mentioned it to you before off air that I'll be in bed and I'll feel like someone's tugging on the sheets because I'll feel them move. Or the distinct sound of someone's foot scrubbing carpet, like you hear someone walking through carpeted floor. Has a very
feet all the way up.
Right, it has a very distinct sound. Someone's walking down the hall or whatever. It doesn't necessarily have to be wood creaking. It's like a swishing noise that you hear. I hear that all the time in this house. And like I said, I'll be sleeping and I'll either feel something get into bed, like the mattress moves just slightly, or I'll feel a tug of the blanket a little bit. And there's been times where we've had like a lamp on in the room. She keeps a lamp on a lot of times because she gets up to pee a lot in the middle of the night. So I'll see shadows that should not be being cast. Weird things like that. Well, there's other things that happen, like being touched. And just now it felt like there was a hand on my leg. But these are the things where I question, like, did I feel that? Was it a nerve twitch? Because I also have nerve damage in the same leg because I had my ACL replaced. So it's like, was that what that was? Or did someone just straight up cop a fill on my inner thigh?
Was it, was I subconsciously thinking about it and therefore it happened?
Right. Yeah. And so, but there are things that do happen. Like I said, the blanket thing will wake me up. It's enough to like, I think Laura's getting in bed to take a nap or something because I sleep during the day. And I'll look and be like, nope, this bed just straight up moved all by itself. And I'll say out loud, I'll be like, I'm trying to sleep. I need you to leave me alone. No more activity until I say something. So it's a little weird, but
stuff like that is very bizarre.
Or like when I hear those footsteps, I'll be like, I'm not super comfortable being alone in this house with you walking around. I need you to knock it off.
One of the most haunted places here in the States is the Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs, Arkansas.
Okay.
It was originally built back in the 1800s as a hotel, and during the construction, several construction workers were killed under really weird circumstances. And then it fell on hard times, and it was taken over by a shyster doctor who claimed to have a cure for cancer. And people would come from all over the United States to be cured of cancer. And he was injecting them with all kinds of weird shit that he made up. He wasn't a doctor. Claiming he could cure cancer, and when they would die, he would just like cover them up and wheel them out in the middle of the night. And to this day,
that's not weird.
People report hearing those old medical carts going down the hallway at night. They don't know exactly how many people died in that place. It's a lot.
That sounds like a good residual.
Yeah, it's been completely remodeled and opened again as a hotel. It's always booked solid. You're months in advance. You've got to get your reservation in if you want to stay at the Crescent. But one time I took my wife down there and we went inside, and they let us walk around, just kind of check the place out. And she got some really weird impressions. And since then, I've tried to get her to go down there with me and spend the night, and she refuses to do it.
And that's it. Being the type that she is, that's probably something good to listen to. I know I try to listen to those feelings when I have them. Like it's nope. This place here, not for me. I don't belong here. I need to leave.
She told me she felt something very strong and very unfriendly up on the third floor. And I'm like, well, okay, let's get the hell out of here then.
Time to go.
Yeah, look at the time.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of those feelings as much as I want to part of me wants to investigate those feelings and really seek out what's going on, and the other part of me is like, dude, this is your primordial instinct telling you that you are in some sort of danger. You need to go.
Definitely.
No one does it, Josh. Josh, keep your demons to yourself. I don't think it's a demon. I don't ever feel uncomfortable in the sense that I'm in danger. I feel uncomfortable sometimes I'm alone. I don't want to be creeped out by someone watching me or grabbing my thigh, but I don't ever feel like me or my family's in danger. Like if that was the case, I'd find us a new place to live. I wouldn't even mess around with it. We'd be
Oh, I
gone.
don't blame you.
But more than anything, it's just like, all right, can you knock it off? I'm really trying to get some sleep, and you are bothering me. You know, that's the worst it's ever gotten.
Well, I can see that. I mean, doing things just to be annoying. I mean, there for the longest time, we would go into the kitchen and all the cabinet doors would be open.
Mm-hmm.
And at night when I'd let the dog out, there was like a creepy feeling in the backyard. And I have a friend who's Navajo, and he sent me the specifications on how to do a blessing way. And since then, it's been good. We haven't really noticed anything.
Good. I've thought about doing something similar or some sort of cleansing ritual, and I've looked.
It takes more than just burning sage and opening windows.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot to it, and you could go through it and it not work. And because of my religion, ours, I've actually looked into more so, instead of doing a cleansing ritual, focusing more on like house weights and land weights, spirits, and doing offerings and rituals to the house spirits, and having them protect the house against that kind of stuff. So, and that falls more in line with my beliefs, and again, more in line with what we were talking about earlier, the power of conviction, the power of belief.
Mm-hmm.
You tell it to get out of your house and not abide it being there. Mark, again, I'm not at to that point yet where I feel like I need to evict somebody. I'm not at the eviction stage yet. It's more like observe the quiet rules kind of stage. This is quiet time. Because there's other times I don't mind it, and I will actively have conversations with whatever it is. Sometimes I don't get a lot of responses or activity, but I feel like more than anything, this is a spirit that's just looking for attention. It's not malevolent. It's not. It's lonely or trying to convey a point, and I'm okay with that. I'm more of a coexist type person. Now, if I felt like in danger or like it was going to bother us, sure. I would worry about an eviction notice, but it's fine. Hey, you got another super chat from Lance. Woo to the who.
Thank you, sir. That is awesome. Thank you very much.
I think that's from Down Under. That AUD, I'm pretty sure is Australian dollar.
I think so. Well, thank you very much, sir. And thank you for joining us. Hope you like the show. And folks, if you like the show, hit that like and subscribe button. Share the videos with your friends and people that you think would be interested in the subjects we talk about. Because we're still a growing channel. We're still trying to get the name out there and grow the brand. So any help you guys could give by reaching out to people that are interested in this kind of subject and sharing the videos on your Facebook or on your Twitter, it really goes a long way to help, and we'd really appreciate it. And make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I got a little video for that, so I'll hit that real fast. It's just short. Yay! I should get some confetti to throw in the air when that plays.
Just reach out, grab that like button by the hand, and say, "I got you, bro. We're gonna help out the algorithm."
Smack it on the hand. Tell it to get its hand out of the cookie jar.
Yep. And it really does help the algorithm. YouTube likes interactions, comments, which you guys are great at because we get comments all night. That like and subscribe button really, really does. Josh, when you do your ritual, please share it with me. I'm going to the family and I might need some protection. I'm still looking into stuff. And like I said, mine might be very Norse heavy. And again, more than an eviction, it's more of a strengthening of the house spirits. but I'll be happy to let you know what I do. And wait a minute, I need to repeat that. If I need that was a joke, Patty. I get it now. She's going to a family reunion. She needs protection from evil.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
I was going to say something. I'm not going to. I'm going to keep that to myself.
It's probably for the best.
Probably for the best. She probably knows along the lines of what I was going to say too. We're just going to let that lie. Anyways, let's see. Yeah, so done derailed myself. How was that mead?
It was really good. I
Yeah.
mean, it was pretty potent. I could definitely tell I drank something with some heat to it when I finished it. But it's from the good folks over at
It's like Glenfield or something.
Cronenfeld Meadery.
Yep.
And just Google them. The Wild Hunt is really good. Wednesday night I'll have the other one. I'll have one of those on the Valkyrie's Choice. And it's really looking forward to doing that again. It's Cronenfeld Meadery.
Good night, Lanita. Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for being here.
That's so cool, man. Yeah, I for those of you who don't know, if you want some mead, you can order from them online. You just got to present your ID to whoever delivers. But I've been wanting to order from them for quite a while. Another great, since we're talking about good mead that you can buy and not make yourself. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this. It's called like Dansk Mjød or something. I don't speak the language very well. They make Odin Skull. They make Kloppen. I don't know. They make like 4 different ones. Vikings Blood's another one. All very good. Question, Josh, do you have your own show? I do, actually. Thank you for asking. On Sundays, I think I just lost DA. On Sunday, State of the Nerd. Every other Sunday, we will be on tomorrow. Me and our friend Matt. We kind of geek out over nerdy stuff. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about Hawkeye. Kind of getting some spoilery territories about where it's going, and talk about some things that have happened, and kind of the future of the MCU, which we talk about a lot of the MCU, but it's kind of hot and popular right now. We might talk about a little bit of Star Wars, but really waiting on Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. We're going to be hitting that hard. So hopefully, DA, when that comes on, if you want to join us, you're more than welcome to nerd out over that. I'd like to get to the point where we can almost do weekly recaps. We're not quite at that point schedule wise, and we got a D&D game coming up that might interfere with that as well. But at the very least, bi-weekly recaps of what's going on. So that's kind of what we talk about. And we may have lost DA. Or did we lose me? No, we lost DA. Okay. Hello, through I walk through the valley of death, I shall fear no family reunion. That's awesome. Richie says, sweet, and I'm a proud nerd. Will come and join us. We're on a different channel, though I do broadcast on DA's Facebook page because we kind of overlap a little bit. Like he's broadcasting on ours right now. You can go to facebook.com/alltowermedia, or since I see you're on YouTube, youtube.com/alltowermedia. You'll find us when you find the black and white tower. It looks something like this is our logo. So be sure to check us out. DA says his internet is going crazy again, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap the show. We're a little over 3 hours, so it's a good point to probably close down anyway. Be sure to check out DA next Wednesday. He's got a show coming up. Same time, same place. Check All Tower Media out tomorrow if you'd like. 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central Time. And we'll be, like I said, be nerding out over the MCU and some Star Wars stuff. And we'll see y'all then. I want to thank everyone for their donations to helping the channel grow. And thanks for hanging out. All of you have a wonderful evening. And thanks for sticking around. Y'all have a good night.
Welcome to DA Ex Machina, with your hosts, Naoma Finn. Thank you for joining us tonight on DAX Machina. If you ever have an encounter of your own that you wish to discuss, contact us at daroberts@daroberts.net. You can remain completely anonymous if you wish. Pull your covers up tight and keep a nightlight burning bright. Oh, and did you forget to lock your doors?